Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Xoxo, this is Xoxo Tarot, and if you are drawn to today's Pick a Feather reading, that is because the spirit world has messages for you that they would like you to hear. So I'm going to start by going through what we're going over in today's reading, and I'm going to do my best to give you guys as much information as possible so that you can really be present during the reading and not let your brain kind of get in the way. So what we're going to do starting out the reading is look at the spirits coming through wishing to communicate with you. The only requirement is that these spirits are unconditionally loving. I'm not messing with no nonsense that's not unconditionally loving. I don't care if it's just like a little ghosty ghost. We're only doing unconditionally loving energies. That's what we only do anyway. So yeah. That's the only requirement. Must be unconditionally loving, but they can be in the form of spirit guides, angels, ascended masters, deities, passed on loved ones, ancestors, nature spirits, star beings. Can literally be anything that resonates at the frequency of unconditional love. I am going to list as many sources as I can when we are looking at the who dis part, but ultimately all that matters is that it feels right in your heart. So it's okay not to know where some of these sources are from. You are guided, watched over, and protected every day by unconditionally loving spirits that you're completely unaware of, and you don't necessarily need to know who they are in order to know that they're there for you and that they love you. But also, you could feel the presence of a spirit that I don't list, maybe because it's a passed on loved one or it's a really unique spirit connected to you. If you feel it in your heart, then trust that that spirit is coming through for you, even if I don't list it. I am not the spirit police. All that matters is that you get the messages that you need, and ultimately, it doesn't really matter who technically is coming through, even though it is so fun and wonderful to know like what emanations of spirit are coming through for you. Ultimately, they're all coming from the same source, which is love. So, if you're getting worked up because you're like, I feel like this spirit's coming through for me, but Xoxo didn't say it. If you feel it in your heart, that's all that matters. And if I list spirits that maybe you hadn't thought of that are coming through, feel free to open your heart to them as well. They're all coming from a place of love, and they're all here to support you and shower you in love and messages. That's all that matters. So, with that being said, your heart will confirm who is speaking to you, and that's all that really matters. You don't have to take messages from every single spirit I list, but I just wanted to be very specific because I know sometimes it can be easy to overthink these things, but it's really, really simple. All these messages are coming from a place of love. The emanations of love that come through could be unique to all of you, but ultimately it's up to you. And feel free to let me know if there's a spirit that comes through that I don't list that resonates with this reading. But once we've looked at all the spirits coming through and their energies, we're going to use the tarot deck that you pick, and we'll see what the messages they have for you are and just see what they want you to know. Then we are going to use a questions deck that I have. I actually got this, I saw a Gem Goddess do this once and I thought it was really cool, so I'm going to try it myself, where we are going to ask these spirits while you're here up to 3 questions and see what answers they have for you. I'll get into that more in your reading, but then we're just going to finish off with guidance, and in that guidance we'll see if there are any synchronicities that these spirits might show up for you in the future to just be aware of, and we'll just finish it off with guidance moving forward. And of course, this reading is timeless. It is meant for you whenever you find it. Doesn't matter if you're watching this 10 years in the future, if you're drawn to it, if you saw it, it's meant for you. So with that being said, we have 3 different piles to choose from today with 3 different feathers. So starting with the first pile, we are going to be using the Cosmic Beings deck, and I have this burgundy silver feather on top. And then for the second group, we are going to be using the Dali Tarot, which is based on artwork by Salvador Dali. And we have this black and gold feather on top. And then finally, for pile 3, we are going to be using the Whispering Spirits Tarot, and I have this green feather with gold on top. So it is absolutely okay to be drawn to more than one pile. All that matters is that the messages resonate for you and bring you clarity. So if they're doing that, then that's really all that matters. Obviously, don't take anything that doesn't resonate, but feel free to pick more than one pile if you feel drawn to more than one. There are no rules here. I'm not the tarot police. I'm not the spirit police. I'm not the resonating police. No police here. Just vibes and love, and hopefully there are messages for you that bring you closer to yourself and bring you to more clarity. So with that being said, we are going to go ahead now and make a little wish together and also see what the mini message is for everyone who stuck around for this part. So in case you guys are unaware, my newest candle dropped and it is the Magician themed, which I'm so excited about. So the cool thing about my tarot themed candles is that each candle comes with a little mini tarot card inside. So we'll look at what the mini tarot card is, and that will be our message for everyone who stuck around. And then we will also make a wish together, and I feel like this wish should be a manifestation. It only seems right. So let's go ahead and see what our card is. Ooh, we have the Page of Wands. So I feel like this is an exciting sign that if you've been feeling exhausted or just been feeling drained or worn out, that you are going to be getting a burst of energy soon, and that I also feel like you're being encouraged to explore and be adventurous in any way that excites you, to explore your passions and follow what makes you feel youthful at heart. Doesn't matter how old you are, we're all youthful on the inside as long as we feel that way. And this could also be an encouragement as well. If you know a person who is younger than you that is a fire sign, they may be wanting to communicate with you, or maybe there is a message that they have for you, or maybe they're just wanting to spend time with you. But ultimately, I see this Page of Wands as a sign to just explore anything you feel passionate about and to not be afraid to try new things. And if you're thinking about traveling in the near future or considering traveling, I would take this as a positive sign to look into that. This is a card that just encourages you to explore your passions, and also just encourages you to be in a more free-spirited, fun, lighthearted, joyful energy. So if you have been in need of that, I feel like this is a positive sign that you're headed towards that energy. And also that if you needed an excuse to do things for the sake of just having fun, there's your excuse. But with the Magician candle, we have carnelian, moonstone, and black obsidian, and I think it's quite beautiful if I do say so myself. And this candle, as well as all my other candles and any candles on Angelic Magic 888's website, will be linked down below, and you can get any of them 10% off by using code ASO10. But now, if you would like to set your intentions for what you are wishing or manifesting, please feel free to do that now, and pause the video if you would like to. If you need time to focus your intentions and your energy, and I'm going to do that as well. And now, we've made our wishes. May your wishes manifest, and may only good and loving things come to all of us. So with that being said, let me make sure that's in the frame. That's all I have for you guys in the intro. Thank you so much to everyone who stuck around with me and made a wish with me. I hope that your wish comes true. But once you have picked your pile or piles, you can go ahead and scroll down to the description box or the comment section, where I will have all the timestamps listed below, as well as links to the candles and any other ways to support me. But once you have picked your pile or piles, I will see you in your reading. Hi there, Pile 1. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose this burgundy and silver feather and the Cosmo Beings Tarot, this is going to be your reading on messages from the spirit world. If you would like a full breakdown of the reading, as well as if you have any questions about the spirits coming through, I answer all of that in the intro, so be sure to check that out. But we're going to start by looking at who the spirits are that are coming through for you today, that wish to communicate with you. So to start, we have perception. The frequency of perception supports our natural curiosity, moving us beyond our comfort zone to find the edges of what we perceive as real and to take a good, hard, deep look at it. Whew, we've got the universe with Metatron, wholeness, commune with all life, micro, macrocosm. We have me time. We have Archangel Raphael with celestial healing. And finally, we have heart portal, receptivity, generosity, and mistrusting. Okay, so we've got some bangers coming out of the gate. We've got a lot. First of all, we have like the universe itself, which is pretty cool. We have Archangel Raphael, we have Archangel Metatron, we have your higher self coming through, as well as your family of light, which your family of light is essentially like any soul family, and really just any souls, any spiritual energy that, you know, you are connected to within this lifetime, beyond time and space. And also any beings that I have not mentioned that you feel like that you have been perceiving consciously recently, I would say they are coming in as well. But the biggest thing is there is so much loving spiritual energy around you, and you may be feeling like you're disconnected or out of alignment, and that's not true at all. I think, in fact, you've actually just been a little bit too stuck in your head and maybe overthinking things and getting yourself maybe burnt out or overwhelmed. I actually think that you would feel this connection quite easily if you took some time to retreat within. And I'm also hearing if you have a read book somewhere that you feel called to do a little like divination thing with, where like you just like close your eyes, turn to a random page, see what it says. There might be some communication there for you. But wow, okay, you have so much love around you, and the universe itself is coming here to communicate with you. So really this can be from any beings beyond the ones that I've just mentioned. But more than anything, I feel like these beings are coming through, which we'll get into the tarot and look at what they want you to know. But these beings are really dedicated right now to helping you get in touch with your heart space if you're disconnected from it, feeling safer to trust in your heart space, and also getting you to let go of limiting beliefs around what is possible for you, around all the love that surrounds you, around the reality of your situation. Because I do think that maybe you have been, one, probably beating yourself up a little bit too much, and two, kind of feeling like you're disconnected from the rest of the world, and that's just not true. You're connected to everything and everyone. You're literally connected to the universe itself, and all that needs to change is the matter of perception. Now, for some of you, you might be newer to like spiritual type things, and you might be thinking like, oh, angels aren't real, or you know, whatever. And like, you're totally entitled to believe whatever you wish to believe. But I do feel like these beings are coming through, not because they're like, you need to believe in us because we're real, and you just like need to get over yourself and like stop thinking you know everything. Like, they're not here to do that. They're just here to help you, and they're here to like let you know that they're always here to support you and guide you and send you love in any way, shape, or form should you ask. Especially if you've been feeling like you're running out of time or you're failing or something like that. Like, that's just not true at all. In fact, I feel like you're really being encouraged to broaden your perception of what's possible for you and broaden your idea. Well, first of all, you need to start recognizing just how absolutely lovable you are, because you are. And it is a delusion of your ego that you are somehow separate from the rest of humanity, or that you don't deserve the same love that the universe gives to every other being and creature within it. You are a part of the universe, therefore you receive it as well. But there are just lots of spiritual energies that are trying to communicate with you, and I feel like you're not getting their messages because you've been too stuck in your head. And the thing is that these beings will always communicate to you in your heart. And I think your higher self as well has been really trying to get your attention, because I feel like you are in the process of bridging more spiritual energy down to this physical reality. And I think that your mind is actually kind of getting in the way of that process happening more smoothly, because I feel like you might be getting into your head or just overthinking or getting really discouraged whenever you have like a perceived setback. One really cool thing that I want to note is that in 2 of these cards, we have these spirals here. And I feel like one thing that's important to remember is that, you know, healing and growth, those things aren't linear. And I feel like these beings are coming through to let you know that you're doing a lot of healing on a multi-dimensional level right now. And I don't think you even realize it. Because I think some of this is actually being facilitated by your higher self, like calling in that healing on your behalf because you want it, you just don't know how to express it. But I also can see here that if there are any angels or any beings, or if you just wish to pray to Spirit, the universe itself, for assistance, for answers, for guidance, for healing, please do that, because there is no limit to the love and the healing that they can give you. The only limits are the ones perceived by your own mind. So those are a couple of the beings coming through, and any beings that you feel in your heart space very strongly that I did not list, those beings are there for you as well. So don't feel like you have to limit the amount of love coming through, because ultimately they're just different emanations of the same source, which is love. So I am going to go ahead and start shuffling your tarot, and we are going to see what messages these beings have for you and what they want you to know. So while I'm shuffling, I just want to give a quick shout out to everyone who takes the time to like leave me a like, comment, subscribe. Like those small things help me so much, especially just liking the video, because that not only lets me know like what you guys are enjoying, but it also just helps me more than you realize, helps my videos, and you know, helps these videos reach other people that might need to see them. So thank you guys just so much for being here, and you know, for sending me love back, and for keeping the comment section so kind and supportive. Like, it just means so much to me to see, you know, just the beautiful little community we've cultivated, and I just feel so lucky and blessed to be connected to you, and I am so grateful that I am able to read for you. So let's go ahead and see what these beings want you to know. So Spirit and all the other spirits that are communicating to pile 1, what messages do you have for pile 1 that they need to know at this time? Ooh, okay, we have the Wheel of Fortune. Love to see it. What else? We have the Knight of Cups. We have the 8 of Pentacles. We have the Queen of Pentacles. Oof. And we have the Knight of Wands. Okay. Interesting. So, bottom of the deck is the Hanging Being. So I definitely think more than anything, like, we're just going to start with the bottom of the deck because I'm going to take it out of the frame in a second. But your guides are really coming through. So definitely some of these beings that I listed are on your spiritual team and part of your family of light. But I feel like the biggest message coming through here is that if you've been really discouraged recently and really frustrated, you're really being called to surrender to that frustration, to surrender to whatever setbacks or discouragement you may be feeling, because it's not there to slow you down or make you feel like you're doing something wrong. It's actually there to get you to maybe let go of some expectations that you have towards yourself, and to let go of limiting beliefs you have around yourself and what you believe is possible. I know I already said that, but there is a really big emphasis here on a shift in perspective and on a shift in your perspective of yourself as well. Because I feel like you definitely sleep on yourself, which if you have not checked out my most recent What You Don't See About Yourself video, you might want to check that out. But with the Hanged Man being here, I definitely feel like you're going through a lot of shifts on a spiritual level that may manifest in your physical realm as obstacles, blocks, setbacks, or frustrations. But really what it's doing is getting you to take a step back and look at things differently. It's like if you've been trying to go at an issue the same way over and over and over again and it's not working, it's because the universe is trying to get you to look at things from a different perspective and maybe look at how you can do things differently. So there's definitely a huge shift coming for you, and the requirement for that shift to start showing up in your everyday physical realm is this perspective shift. Because here's the thing, we got to start with the Wheel of Fortune. You are so protected, you are so safe, and you are so okay. Like, you are fine. I feel like there's a lot of fear right now around, like, are you doing what you should be doing? Like, are you on the right path? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? And I want to say your guides, because really this is what's coming through a lot. Your guides are really asking you to stop and take a step back and say, and ask yourself, is what you're doing what you want to be doing? Because with the Wheel of Fortune here, one thing that the universe is trying to get you to understand is that when you're here on Earth, there is a mixture of fate and free will at play. And your job is not to try to figure out what your guides are doing, what the universe is doing. Your job is to focus on your reality and also what you want and what's under your own free will. With the Wheel of Fortune here, the universe is supporting you, and they want to remind you that you can never be out of alignment or off track, because anything that you are doing in the moment you're doing it is aligned for whatever reason. You don't necessarily need to know the reason, but sometimes you might perceive like obstacles or setbacks as a sign of you doing something wrong or a sign that you should be doing something differently. And that's not necessarily the case. Oftentimes, obstacles and setbacks are not a sign that we're doing something wrong, but rather a divine detour or an opportunity to look at something that we hadn't considered before. But if your automatic reaction, well, that's one thing. If when you experience something, you immediately get reactive and start telling yourself stories about what this means, you're missing out on opportunities to be observant and see what the universe is actually trying to tell you. I feel like you are holding yourself to standards and expectations that the universe is not holding you to. And for some of you, this might be rooted in like a parental figure or the way that you were raised, where you may feel like you have to do XYZ in order to be worthy, or you have to do things in this order, or you can only be successful if you do that, do this or that. And I feel like the universe is really coming through, and the spirit world is coming through to say, we want to support you in doing the things that make life joyful, that make life fun, that make life feel good. You know, obviously that doesn't mean that there isn't any hard work involved, but I feel like one thing you need to know is that when you're following something that you truly love, you will be supported, even if it takes time. And even if that means that maybe you're not like, I feel like the message coming through is that your needs will be taken care of. In terms of expectations around like finances, I feel like you may be under this impression that you can't be happy and also monetarily successful or monetarily abundant. And that is one limiting belief that you're really being asked to let go of. Because with the Wheel of Fortune being here, I feel like your heart is guiding you exactly where you need to go. And I feel like your brain is overcomplicating things because you're trying to see things before they manifest. One big thing that the spirit world wants you to know is that your success is already guaranteed there. And also the definition of success is something so subjective, but also, you know, your divine success and your ultimate fulfillment is already assured within the spiritual realms. The only person stopping that from happening in the material realm is you. And you may feel like there are obstacles outside of yourself, and there could be in certain ways, But you're being asked to look at those obstacles rather as signs that you're doing something wrong, or signs that you need to completely overhaul your life, unless you do feel you need to completely overhaul your life. Instead of looking at them as something that you're doing wrong, instead ask yourself what they're trying to show you and where they might be trying to direct you. Because with the Knight of Cups here, you know, cups are all about emotions. And I feel like your most aligned actions are going to be centered and directed from your heart space. So what I mean by that is, you know, you might feel the urge to completely neglect your schoolwork one day, for example, so that you can paint all day. Now, I'm not encouraging you to neglect your schoolwork entirely, but maybe you have plenty of time to get it done the next day. Giving yourself the room and the freedom to be more spontaneous and let things flow from your heart and let yourself be creative without any expectations is going to do wonders in terms of not only just bringing you more joy, but also helping you recognize that there are unlimited solutions and unlimited paths that you can follow. I feel like one thing that your guides want to remind you with this Eight of Pentacles here is that you're a hard worker. And you can trust yourself that when you have a goal and you have a plan to reach that goal, you absolutely can. And even though, I think the biggest thing is to be cautious about placing time limits on those goals. Because once you start like making things, once you start placing like timing expectations onto things, that's when you might run into, you know, beliefs that, oh, well, I didn't reach this goal by this time limit, so it must not be for me. When in reality, maybe it takes you another week or another month to reach that goal. Timing is an illusion of it's not, time and space, the way we are experiencing it, does not exist in the spirit world. So the you that exists right now in this moment is just one version of you. There is a you that feels joyful, good, playful, fun, and loving that also exists. And you can bridge that version of yourself into your present moment. And I feel like your guides are really asking you to look at how can you bring more love into your present moment? What actions can you take that are more loving towards yourself? What decisions could you make that would help move you towards certain goals? But not only that, I feel like you're being called to also look at your definitions of what success looks like and ask yourself if they're only based on finances, which, like, of course, like, it makes sense that you would have that viewpoint, but it is important to remember that a lot of the most, like, beautiful aspects of life have nothing to do with the material realm and have a whole lot more to do with, you know, the love that you feel or the joyful experiences you have with the people that you love and the people that you care about. And I do feel like, you know, this Queen of Pentacles could represent an earth sign with feminine energy. It certainly doesn't have to, but I do think you're being called to look at what beliefs you have inherited about yourself from the people that raised you, and also like what beliefs you have around money, what beliefs you have around success, what beliefs you have around your ability to be successful, your ability to step outside of the box or step outside of your comfort zone. Because you may be under the impression that, you know, for example, you have to go to school, then you have to get a degree, and then you have to get another degree, and then you have to find a job, and then you work, and then you retire, and maybe you can enjoy yourself when you retire, and then you go back to the spirit world. I think one thing that the spirit world wants to remind you is that you will always return there. You came from love, and that is where you will return to. But you may be spending way too much time listening to the opinions of others and not nearly enough time listening to the opinion of your heart, because your heart has a lot of truth that your brain can't consciously understand, and its wisdom is something that you have to believe in order to see. I feel like the spirit world is confirming that the goals that you have will take work and they will take time. But if you feel like these sorts of dreams in your heart, or these sorts of desires in your heart, and you're actively working towards them, like, trust that the seeds that you plant will be harvested and you will reap the rewards for your hard work. But you're being asked to let go of the expectations around what those rewards look like. I also think you're really being encouraged to I got distracted by the rain outside. It just sounds so nice. I feel like you're being encouraged to honor your energy levels, especially when there are times where you're feeling burnout or you don't have the energy or motivation to do anything creative. When you like just have enough energy to just do like the bare minimum. I feel like those are wonderful opportunities for you to take some time out from the world and kind of be in solitude and rest and go within. Those would be great opportunities to journal, to meditate, or to just really be in tune with yourself. I feel like one issue is that you may be having a hard time listening to yourself and listening to your own guidance because there may be so many people trying to get your attention, you know? Like these two knights, for example, could be friends of yours that require a lot of energy. You know, this Queen of Pentacles could be a partner or a parent, or, you know, it could represent you in terms of maybe you're a parent and maybe you have children that you're responsible for and they take a lot of time and a lot of work. But I feel like if you are someone who is very busy and is spread a little thin, I feel like the spirit world is really asking you to take a look at what you're putting on your plate unnecessarily that's taking you away from yourself. Because I feel like you're holding yourself to certain obligations because you think you should do it, but there's no truth in those shoulds. There's no reason why you necessarily should have to do something. But I feel like you're also being called to let go of the idea that you need to be constantly and consistently, quote unquote, productive. Resting is an incredibly productive thing to do. Being creative for the sake of fun is an incredibly productive thing to do. Taking time to spend time with the people that make your heart feel good and that lift you up, those things are productive. And I feel like you're being called to recognize that inspiration, wisdom, and guidance are available to you in every moment of every day. All it requires is for you to be open and to listen. And the interesting thing is that I'm getting so much mental energy from you, but we have no swords cards here. And I think that's because the mental body is not where you're going to find the answers you seek. A lot of the answers you seek are going to come through hindsight or through the results of risks you take or paths you follow with no certainty of what's going to be there. I feel like the spirit world is really just asking you to trust in the wisdom that your heart has, because the more you try to just dissect it from a logical perspective, the less sense it'll make. But with this Wheel of Fortune here, the spirit world is just wanting to remind you that your heart's desires and the dreams that you have are already real and exist within the spiritual realms. All you need to do is be open to the guidance and open to where your heart is leading you, and open to, you know, taking those first steps and those second steps without necessarily knowing where they'll lead you to. Because slowly but surely, I'm hearing Stairway to Heaven right now. But it's, you know, like, as you grow and learn and as you advance, like, all of this work, even the work that you don't think is necessarily benefiting towards something, it all will have its purpose and it all will make sense. I feel like the biggest thing that the spirit world wants you to know is that nothing is wasted and you're not disconnected from anything. But you are also being encouraged to take advantage of times where you have a lot of energy or where you have a lot of inspiration. If you are really inspired and you feel like, I really should do the laundry though. Like let's say you have this brilliant idea that this brilliant image in your head that you want to paint or something. And like, you're like, but I got to do the laundry. Like, if you're getting inspiration, take action on it as soon as you get it, because you may not realize how much like inspiration you actually get that you don't act on because you think you'll either remember it or you feel too guilty to act on it because you think you should be doing something else. So I feel like the spirit worlds are also really asking you to let go of any beliefs that you have around what you think you should be doing or what is most important. You know, the people around you are fully entitled to have whatever beliefs they have about the world and what's possible for them and what they think they should do. But you're really being asked to let go of your need for the approval of others outside of yourself when it comes to doing what's right for you, because other people don't know what's right for you. You know what's right for you. And there's no way in hell you're going to know what's right for you if you never spend time by yourself, if you never take time to listen to what you need. Because sometimes what you need is not the same as what you want, but what you want might be approval from others, but what you need is the opportunity to spend time in solitude exploring the dreams that your heart's been trying to express to you, or the little nudges that you've been feeling towards exploring a new topic or a new idea. I feel like more than anything, if there are any people that you find that inspire you, or maybe that you even feel like jealous of, look to those people as there's something there within their energy or within what they're doing that is meant to be a part of your life in some way. Like, for example, let's say, you know, you're really there's a singer that you really love that you're jealous of, which, like, you don't necessarily have to be jealous, but, like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe that means that there's an unexpressed part of you that wishes to take singing lessons, or that wishes to just take time to sing more often and share your voice in that way, even if it's just by yourself. Like, there are so many ways in which healing energy can flow through us, in the form of sound, in the form of, you know, energy healing, in the form of creativity. And we don't necessarily always consciously understand that. But I feel like what you need to know is that you don't need to be consciously aware and like checking in every 20 seconds with the universe to make sure you're in alignment. You are in alignment. And the idea that you need to let go of is that the universe is the one guiding you. You are the guide here. You are the captain, all right? The universe is just going to do what they can to make the journey as beneficial as possible to your soul. And now, as I say that, you know, that doesn't mean it'll always be smooth sailing. Sometimes there will be storms, as you can hear outside. But those storms can be incredibly cleansing. Those storms can lead us to where we're meant to be going much quicker and faster than if skies had been clear. You never know how the divine is going to bring us detours, but it starts by surrendering the need to be in control. And instead, listen to what your heart is trying to tell you. Listen to those little inner nudges in terms of exploration, because there's so much energy being wasted in your mental body, fretting and worrying about what other people think, and none of that is going to matter when you enter the spirit world. Because truthfully, every single person that you're worried about, they have their own journey and they have their own things that they need to experience, and you don't know what they need the same way they don't know what you need. And that's something that you need to remind yourself when you get worked up about someone else's opinion or worry about what someone else thinks. Fuck their opinion. And the thunder outside agrees with me. You know? Don't be afraid to take up space. Don't be afraid to take time just for yourself. Don't be afraid to do things differently than other people. You don't have to announce it. And if you are the type of person to tell people what you're doing before you do it, maybe stop doing that. Maybe let your actions start speaking for itself. You don't need anyone's permission to do what feels right for you. All you need to do is give yourself the freedom to do it. I feel like the more you just trust in what you already feel is right for you, and trust in those little nudges and those little ways in which your heart guides you, the more you'll realize, like, you are the person you needed to be listening to. Yeah, so Spirit agrees with that. You are the person you need to be listening to. And don't worry about the rest of the noise. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to give you the opportunity to ask these spirits up to 3 questions. And I saw this actually, credit goes to Gem Goddess. I saw her do this once and I thought it was just such a great idea. So each of these cards have like, these questions don't necessarily have to be yes or no answers. They have kind of different answers, but essentially I'm gonna pull 3 cards, and if you wanna write these questions down or wait until I shuffle and see if you're drawn to like 1 or 2 cards and then ask questions there, there's really no right or wrong. I would just, you know, make sure that you pause before I like flip over the cards. But essentially whatever you can, like whatever questions you have, whether it's 1 question, whether it's 3, I will shuffle a card for question 1, question 2, question 3, and you know, you just decide which card you feel drawn to, or if you feel drawn to all of them, that's okay. Feel free to pause and write them down, whatever works for you. I don't know if this is gonna work, so let me know, and if you like this, then we can do it again. So starting on question 1, Spirits guiding pile 1, what answer do you have for question 1? Okay. This will be the card for question 1. If you are not drawn to it, ignore it. But if you have a question for question 1, there it is. All right, for the second question, pile 1 might have, spirits, what is the answer to the second question that they might have? What is the answer to the second question they might have? Okay, so there, that will be for question number 2. And then for question number 3, Spirit, what is the answer to the third question pile 1 may have? Okay. All right. So if you have 1 question that you would like the answer to, you know, you could say that question out loud and see which one you feel most drawn to. If you have 3 questions, maybe write out what question it is and which answer you feel most drawn to. There's no rules here, but essentially if you're still sorting that out, pause the video so that I don't spoil the answers for you, because we're gonna go ahead and start by looking at what the answer is to the first question for card 1. I've had a couple near-death experiences in storms, that's why I get a little jumpy, but it's okay, I'm a big girl. Okay, so let's see what the answer for question 1 is. The opportunity is approaching. So if you were asking about an opportunity or something like that, there it is. If you were asking about timing around something, seems like it's coming. But if you were asking, whatever you were asking about for question 1, the answer is the opportunity is approaching. Now, for question 2, let's see what the answer to the second question is for card 2. Stand in your power. So whatever your question was, you're clearly being encouraged to trust the answer that you feel is right and to empower yourself in terms of not letting yourself overthink it. What feels right in your gut, what feels right to you, trust in that. And if you are asking about something involving someone else, you're really being encouraged to make the decisions that make you feel empowered and to not put yourself in situations that make you feel disempowered, or share your time and energy with people that make you feel disempowered. But then finally, let's see what is coming through for card number 3. The answer to the third question, or the answer to card 3, is a block exists. So this is definitely a sign if you were asking about if there's anything in the way of like a goal that you have. There may be a blockage in the way, and we were already talking about how these blockages are not necessarily signs of failure or signs that you're on the wrong path, but in fact divine detours or an opportunity to look at your situation from a different perspective. So depending on whatever you are asking about, there is a block here, and you're really being asked to look at what that blockage is. And one, I would pray for guidance on how to remove this blockage, or if this blockage is something that you can remove on your own. I feel like you'll know in your heart. But if it's a blockage outside of your control. And I feel like you're being called to surrender and trust that this blockage will remove itself, or a detour around this block will show itself when the time is right. Sometimes we have to wait and pause and just trust and wait for things to align properly in order for us to keep moving forward. Think of it like a divine stoplight. Like, if there's a blockage, it might be because other people need to make their way through here before you can go ahead. You know, they don't want you crashing into other people and have an accident. So, you know, they're going to keep that red light up until it's time for your green light. But to trust that your green light is always coming, and you will know when you have a green light. Maybe Green Light by Lord is a significant song for you. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and finish this reading off with some guidance. And within this guidance, there's also signs moving forward from these spirits to just confirm that they're watching over you. Maybe you've already seen these synchronicities. If not, I feel like these will be synchronicities that are shown in your path moving forward that will just remind you that the universe has your back, the universe is watching over you, and that, you know, you're not doing anything wrong. You're doing life, baby. There's no wrong way to do it. So to start, we have Asters with elegance and patience. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Yes, I feel like this is so true for you. Like, you may be feeling like you have to stick to some certain timeline, or that if it doesn't happen now, it will never happen. And that's just not true. If you have a dream in your heart, surrender the need to know how and when it will manifest, and just trust the steps your heart is guiding you to take. Like, an example I like to use is the Wizard of Oz. You know, Dorothy's goal is to get back to Kansas, but she's not told everything that she's going to go through and experience. In fact, Glinda doesn't even tell her that she can just click her heels, because she wouldn't have believed her. She had to go on that journey and learn the lessons that she needed to learn in order to be ready to realize that she had to go home. And the only guidance she was given was follow the yellow brick road. That was it, you know? And there were forks in the road, there were different detours, but ultimately it all worked out and she got where she needed to go. Don't worry about the direction. Trust where your heart is guiding you, because your heart is a better compass than Google Maps ever will be. In terms of a stone that may be beneficial for you, we have garnet. What it is, garnets are deep pomegranate to fiery red stones that have lit wrists for centuries. Garnets come in many forms, like almandine, gracile, and spessartine, to name 3 that I probably mispronounced. Gorgeous garnets gush with positive vibes and are the perfect sparkly accessories to an I got this attitude. Yeah, that's what the spirit world wants you to know more than anything, is that you've got this. Do not misinterpret, you know, things not manifesting as quickly as you'd like, or things not, or a couple of blockages in your way as something that you're doing wrong, or that you need to change your path. It just means that maybe you need to change your perception of how you think your path is going to manifest, and let go of the need to know the outcome, and instead just be along for the journey, because life is not about the destination, it's about the journey. We all know that. Who needs it? Writers who aren't writing, painters who aren't painting, sexual beings who aren't sexing. Where to put it? Any place you want to make something, be it art, love, or dollar bills, y'all. When to use it? When you feel like the real you is getting lost in the sometimes shallow, often materialistic priorities of a likes-driven culture. Get into your depth. Yeah, this is so fitting. Like, I feel like this card literally just exemplifies everything that you've been going through and dealing with, just in a much more eloquent way than how I put it. So definitely a beneficial stone for you to work with. But we also have the scent of rosemary with the theme of wisdom. And rosemary could be the name of a guide or a name of a spirit coming through. But the trigger statement is, it doesn't make sense. And the true statement is, I see the bigger picture. You are moving towards a deeper level of understanding, from knowledge to wisdom. Take time to absorb the lessons. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, sometimes the most valuable things that we get are wisdom from our experiences, or, you know, the people we meet along the way. Like, there's so much value in the journey and in your present moment. Do not, because all your power is in the present moment anyway. So if you, one way you may be disempowering yourself is by, you know, putting all your focus in the past or the future. So if you can call all of yourself back to the present moment, and ask yourself what you can do now. I feel like that will be such an empowering way to remind yourself that you're not lost, you're not out of alignment, you're not doing anything wrong. You're just a guy being a dude, or a gal being a lady, or a they, them being a person, vibing through life. You're just figuring it out, and that's fine. You are just as connected whether you consciously recognize it or not. And remember, there are plenty of people that go through their entire lives without a semblance of awareness that there's all this divine guidance available to them, and they still figure it out, and they still do what they need to do. The fact that you have that awareness and that connection is just a bonus. So don't feel like you have to constantly be checking in, because you're always being guided, always being watched over, and your heart will let you know when you need to hear something or when you need to know something. But we also have the dove spirit with be peace. So yeah, doves could be a significant bird for you, but I also think that you're really just being encouraged to find time for peaceful moments and find time to just decompress and discharge any intense energies in your field. Because if you're constantly, if you're constantly stuck in your head or just constantly thinking about what's next and never just giving yourself time to be in the present moment and rest, not only are you going to make yourself really tired, but you're also missing out on tons of insight that the present moment has for you. And finally, we have broccoli with leadership. So I definitely think that I'm hearing the broccoli song in my head, but this is just such important confirmation, because this is the confirmation that I was saying, that you are the leader of your own life. You don't need the divine to tell you what you need to do. The divine and your guides are not here to tell you where to go. They're here to support you in the journey you want to take. Sure, you might have had expectations or goals for this incarnation, but once you come down to planet Earth, everything's fair game. So remember that you are the one that is meant to take the lead in your life. The divine works around you and works with you. You are not there to be at the mercy of what the divine wants for you, because that's not their job. You have spirit guides, not spirit dictators, okay? So anytime you feel like it's up to the universe what's meant to happen, take a step back and recognize that you may be projecting your fear of uncertainty or projecting your power onto the universe and not recognizing the power that you have within in the present moment. So pile 1, that is where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background while you do something else. I'm not a monster. I don't expect you to watch the ads, but letting them play in the background helps me so much, and it supports me like you wouldn't believe. So thank you to everyone who does that. Thank you to everyone that takes time to leave me a like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. If you want me to see your comments, I usually see comments when I first upload. So be sure to click that little notification bell to be notified when I upload new readings, because that is, if you want me to see your comment, that's most likely when I will see it. Be sure to check out my candles if you are interested. Any candles on Angelic Magic 888's site, you can get 10% off using code ASO10. I also have merch and social media, and that is linked down below. Anything else? I mean, you can watch other videos, ones with extendeds and all that jazz, but that's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching, for being here, and for letting me read your cards. I hope you will have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you are watching this. I love you guys so much, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the black and gold feather and the Dali Tarot, then this is going to be your reading on messages from the spirit world. So if you want a full breakdown of the reading, there is one in the intro. But we're going to go ahead and start by looking at the beings that are coming through, the spirits themselves that are coming through with messages for you. If you have any questions about that or any uncertainty, I went pretty in depth into the spirits and beings that we are channeling here in the intro, so feel free to check that out. But what matters most is that whoever you feel is in your heart, whatever you feel is in your heart, those are the most important answers. But anyway, to start, we have synergy. The frequency of synergy supports our allowance and acceptance of not so obvious, never seen before combinations and unions that result in new ways of functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. It reminds us to embrace the unfamiliar so that the new yet exciting co-creations we can new yet exciting co-creations can give birth to a new reality. We have home. We have Syrian emissaries, dream for the new earth, time now for a magical life. We have Archangel Ariel with elemental magic. And we have awakening, ancient knowledge, memories, and connection. This is so beautiful. You have so many beings coming through for you. And a lot of them, you may have no idea they're even there, but I do want to start off by saying, like, if you have noticed even just within your home, like flashes of light or like random things like little shadows out of the corner of your eye, obviously if it's like scaring you or something like that, I don't think it's these beings, which in that case, I would lovingly affirm that you only allow unconditionally loving energies into your home if that's what you want. If you want anything in there, I mean, that's up to you. But I do think that you might be almost sensing certain presences in your home, whether you realize it or not. But there are actually a lot of beings coming through for you. And a lot of them you have had either past lives with, or you have worked with them in some capacity when you've also been in the spirit realm. So there are definitely beings that you may be consciously aware of. Like, for example, Archangel Ariel, you might resonate with being a Syrian starseed. Your light family in general is coming through. So these are just beings of light that you are connected to, that are part of your soul family, that you could have experienced past lives with, that you could have guided in certain lives, that they may guide you. There are so many beings here. So any beings that you felt connected to and that feel close to your heart, I think they're definitely here working with you. I also think any loved ones that have passed on that you either shared a home with or felt like home to you, they don't have to be necessarily family, but like a really close friend, a lover, you know, something like that, or even a pet, honestly. Animals can be guides as well. But the common theme that all of these beings have is that they love you so very much, and they are dedicated to helping you on your own journey in this lifetime, and dedicated to helping you feel more confident in your creations, feel more confident in just taking the journey that is most aligned with you. And I feel like you're also being encouraged to let go of any mental limitations around what is possible for you and what you're truly connected to, because in reality, you're quite literally connected to everything. But I do feel this emphasis on integrating both earthly spiritual energies. So like you could also have the fae around you, as well as like earth spirits and cosmic beings as well. With this synergy card here, I feel like there are a lot of different beings working together to assist you. And also I am getting this sense that you're really being encouraged to not limit your interest in exploring all of these different like spiritual realms, like through the physical world. I also am getting specifically, you could have a female ancestor that was a really powerful like witch or pagan, or they could, or like if there's like a really special cultural tradition around like witchcraft or something like that, you could have a very powerful ancestor that's guiding you there. But you are very intimately connected to these beings, and you might have a hard time believing me when I say that, and that's only because your logical mind doubts it. You would actually be shocked at how often you're connecting with these beings without even realizing it. Anytime you feel some sort of like soft reassurance in your heart, or you experience a sign that maybe reminds you that you're not alone, or you just feel this sense like you are safe, or that there's someone out there loving and caring for you, it is definitely these beings. And the cool thing is that it doesn't necessarily matter who the beings are specifically that are coming in to contact you. I always like looking at that stuff because it's fun for confirmation, especially if you have been trying to invoke certain beings, or if you've invited certain beings into your home, for example. Like if you've been trying to contact Archangel Ariel, or if you've been asking, Syrian beings to present themselves. I am seeing here that all of the spirits that are trying to get in contact with you, they are sending you signs, and to not feel like you have to dismiss them or that they're confirmation bias. Like, confirmation bias is just a psychological explanation of synchronicity. Like, doesn't take away from the fact that a sign is only a sign if it has meaning to you. So you get to determine whether a sign is a sign. Does that make sense? And also, you know, there can be confusion between like, well, actually, I guess I would say this. True signs bring you a sense of clarity and confidence. False signs will lead you into confusion and uncertainty. So I guess you could say false signs are closer to confirmation bias maybe. But these beings are, which we're not even in the messages yet, but these beings already want to stress that you massively underestimate how intimately connected you already are to these beings. And you might be overcomplicating things in terms of like, how do I get in contact with them? Like, how do they know, like, how will I know when they're around me, or how will I know this or that? And what they're really saying is like, they are intimately connected to you. The best way to feel their presence is, one, to, you know, get yourself centered and ground yourself, but also to feel in your heart and to just be open to what your intuition is telling you. But yeah, there are lots of loving spirits around you, and they're all working together to help you. And one thing that they really want you to know is that and I actually said this in the last pile as well, and it's coming through for you guys too, is that they are not here to tell you what to do and how to live your life. They are here to help empower you to live the life that you want, to live the life that is aligned with your truth. And they just want to assist you on that. So if you feel like at times like you owe something to these beings, or that if you ever feel like you're being disrespectful because you don't like reach out to them or something like that, don't worry about that at all. They love you unconditionally. They don't have ego the same way humans do. So they're not going to be like, what the hell, pile 2, they didn't respond to my sign or say thank you, like canceling them, I'm not guiding them anymore, they suck, I'm done. Like, no, if a spirit responded that way, they are not a spirit worth communicating with, and they're certainly not a guide. And if it's not unconditionally loving, it's probably not worth getting in contact with, at least in my mind. But the biggest thing here is that there are definitely, I think that there could even be nature spirits around your home that are particularly connected to you. If you take the time to garden or just clean up the area around where you live, I feel like the nature spirits are very grateful to you. If you've taken the time to plant things or just clean things up and make them nicer, I feel like the spirits in and around your home want to thank you for all the love and the care that you've put into that. And they want you to know also that they are watching over and protecting you, because there's a big energy here of protection. And you might be in this process right now where like you could be in an awakening process where like you might just be overwhelmed with like the realizations you're having and the shifts that you're experiencing. And I feel like these beings just want you to know that they have your back every step of the way, and that you are safe, and that they are protecting you, and that you don't need to understand everything. In fact, the best thing that you can do is remove the need to try to explain what's happening to you and just observe instead. You know, write down insights you get, write down signs you get, write down things that you think are significant, and, you know, feel free to just talk to these beings out loud. Even if you can't talk out loud, even just telepathically, like when you set the intention to, for example, contact Archangel Ariel, like they're going to get the message. If you set the intention to talk to your Syrian guides, like they're going to get the message. They're intimately connected to you, and you're connected to everything in this universe. So, one message that I'm getting is that you might be introduced to new forms of magic, or you might have new beings coming and making their presence known to you. And if you are feeling like, oh, I don't know if I should do that, or I don't know if I'm allowed to, like, let go of the idea that you need anyone else's permission to work with something, especially if it's coming to you directly. But also, you know, if, like, for example, maybe you've never worked with nature spirits or something like that, and you have all these nature spirits, like, you know, just wanting to know that they're there or express their gratitude for you or something like that, you might be thinking like, no, that's crazy. Like, I believe in angels, but not in nature spirits. Like, I feel like there's just this energy here where you're really being encouraged to let go of what you think is possible and be open to what the universe is trying to share with you, because there are so many spirits and so many beings that want to work with you and support you and help you co-create the life that you want. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start shuffling your tarot and see what messages want to come out. I'm already getting so many messages, so I feel like you have been getting contacted quite a bit by these beings, and I do want to stress that if it's ever overwhelming or you just want it to stop, tell them. You know, they never want to overwhelm you or bombard you, and it's important to remember that you are in control when it comes to your communication with these beings. Like, if you don't want them to contact you, say that. If you want them to contact you, say that. They are unconditionally loving, so, you know, sometimes when we want beings to show themselves to us or you know, share their energy with us, they might hold back because we're not ready. But even then, being open and just setting that intention, it's powerful and it can do a lot. But I do think that there are actually going to be spirits that you feel this uncanny sense of familiarity to, and I would say it's quite likely you're going to be reawakening to certain past life memories that you may have had with them or something of that nature. Like, there are definitely beings that are guides for you in this lifetime, that have either passed on in this lifetime or that you were intimately connected to in previous lifetimes, and they're just very invested in helping you. So this is just a really beautiful pile and a really beautiful energy. And the biggest thing that, like, I feel just called to say is that, like, you know, you don't have to put your allegiance towards only angels or only cosmic beings. Like, you're really just being encouraged to be open and explore the many ways in which love can manifest in the physical realm and through the spirits of the universe. So just know you are connected to all of it, and the only limits are the ones you place on yourself. So the spirits wishing to contact pile 2, what would you like pile 2 to know? What are the messages that you have for them? Wow, we have the King of Pentacles. So one thing I'm getting specifically is that there could be a father figure or grandfather figure that has been like a guide. And for some of you, if you have like a father or grandfather that passed on, I do feel like their presence is very strong. And I feel like you can feel their presence most strongly if you make food that they either used to really like or that you share together. Or I'm hearing like cologne, or like you might smell their scent out of nowhere. That is definitely going to be a for sure sign that they're around. And also, like, if you get like I just got this rush of like wind past me, so I feel like they will do a lot to try to let you know that they're there. And I feel like overwhelmed with tears, but I feel like they want you to know that they love you so much and that they're protecting you. And oh, I'm getting so emotional. They love you so very much, and they just want you to know that they are always by your side, and that they are always watching over and protecting you, and they're always in your heart. And even though you may not always feel them or see them, doesn't mean they're not there. Like, they are watching over you and guiding you. And this also, for some of you, could be like a spouse or a lover that passed on too. But I'm just getting a very like masculine energy that is very protective over you and that just loves you very, very, very much. And they also want you to know that they are humbled by the power of your soul. I feel like they feel honored, especially if, you know, they were a lover or a parent or a guiding figure for you. They feel so honored to have been able to guide your soul in this lifetime that they shared with you, because being on the other side in the spirit world, they see not only the magnitude of your soul, but the grand beings that are working with you, that believe in you, that are guiding you. They're just absolutely humbled by your magic, by your spirit. And I feel like one thing that they want you to know is that, like, man, they thought they loved you in this lifetime, like while they were still on earth, but, you know, being able to see you beyond just that lifetime and to have the perspective and scope that they do, they're just even more amazed and humbled and just so very blessed to be connected to you. And they love you very much, and they want you to know that they never miss any communication, any sign, any message you have for them. They get it. They're always watching over you, and they're always protecting you, and they love you very, very much. And I'm gonna keep shuffling so that I don't start sobbing like baby. What else? What other messages does the spirit world have? Okay, yeah, so we have the Knight of Pentacles and we have the Death card here. And I feel like one thing that they're saying as well is like, you're a chip off the old block, and like they couldn't be prouder. And if you've had any accomplishments recently, and this goes for really any loved ones that have passed on that really inspired you to become the person that you are today, or inspired like your work ethic, inspired your desire to succeed and things like that, they are just wanting you to know how much you are like them. And I feel like for some of you, if this loved one passed on like when you were particularly young, they want you to know that you are so much like them when they were your age, and they love seeing you grow and seeing you change, and they're just so proud of the person that you are. But let's keep going. Let me finish shuffling first. So what else do these spirits... Ooh, we got the Magician itself. And we have the Knight of Wands. Interesting. That was the last card actually on pile one's reading. And interestingly, the Queen of Pentacles was there, but I didn't get the same, I don't know, I got different energies. But anyway, bottom of the deck is the Six of Swords. And I feel like one of the biggest things that you need to know is that whenever you're feeling alone, one of the best things that you can do, alone or overwhelmed or just feeling like unsupported, especially by like the people in your life, one of the best things that you can do for yourself is take the time to go somewhere where you feel safe, go somewhere where you feel loved, whether that is in an altar, in your bedroom, just a place where you feel most connected to your inner world, and really take the time and ask for the beings that love you unconditionally, for their support, for any guidance or assistance they may have, anything that you need to know. Because I feel like when you get overwhelmed or you get just, worked up, it's hard for you to remember all of the love that surrounds you. And that's not something that they're like shaming you about. It's just something that they want you to know is always available to you and is always being sent to you, whether you're consciously aware of it or not. I also feel like this Magician card is coming out so strongly for me. And I love that like the Magician card is coming out when we have the Magician candle out. This is a horrible time, but if you want to check that out, links below. You have so much not only to offer the world, but you have no concept of how much you're actually capable of achieving and how much you can achieve. I'm also being called to say here that some of you may be natural mediums. I'm one as well. And I didn't even realize it even when I was doing it. It took a mediumship teacher to let me know that I was a medium. And speaking of that, I feel like if you're wanting to develop your mediumship skills, even if you're not a mediumship, even if you don't have natural mediumship abilities, I feel like you're really being encouraged to take a class or to explore that part of yourself. The only way I would say not to do that is if you're in a really poor mental state, or if you have if you're diagnosed with schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder or anything related to psychosis, I would say do not explore mediumship, because that could be very dangerous. But if you are in a healthy place mentally and emotionally, I would highly encourage looking into mediumship classes or a mediumship teacher, because I think it would not only help you understand the messages that you're receiving more, but also help you realize that you are always intimately connected to these beings. And one thing I'm being called to tell you as well is that well, first of all, mediumship is not something that you should just practice on your own. That can be dangerous. And, as much as many unconditionally loving beings there are in the world. There are plenty that are not. And one of the most important skills a medium needs to have is discernment. And if you do not know how to discern yet, or anything like that, you know, you could easily be tricked by something that is less than loving. So don't explore mediumship unless you're exploring it in a safe and healthy way. But that is something that the spirits are guiding you to look into if you're interested. Especially, you could be particularly good at channeling like earthbound spirits and channeling people's passed on loved ones. But I also feel really called to say as well that, you know, the beings that you miss that have passed on in this lifetime, you know, they want you to know that they're okay, and that, like I said earlier, they're always guiding you, they're always watching you, but also to not feel like just because their physical presence isn't there anymore doesn't mean that they're not there anymore. But also you don't have to feel bad about like still being sad about that. You know, grief is a complicated thing, and it's not something that just walks away. Grief is like a really weird, I wouldn't call it a friend, but I don't know what I would call it. Grief is just a very complex thing, and there's no time limit on grieving, and there is no, if you're beating yourself up feeling like I should be over this or I shouldn't be still so affected by this, you know, grief is a sign that love was present, and the love still is very much present, but it's so hard, you know, losing the physicality of the people that we love and sharing that experience together. And I feel like one thing that you need to know is that there are so many beings on the other side watching over you, guiding you, that love you so very much. And there are so many beings as well that you have reincarnated with time and time again, and in so many different ways. And I feel like one thing you need to know is that there's never truly an ending, and you'll never truly be disconnected from that love and from those individuals. All that happens is you will change form. And I feel like, I don't know why I felt so called to say that, but I feel like that was maybe more a confirmation for some of you. But I'm also hearing that the spirits want you to know as well that you are going through a major transformation right now. Death is a lot about transformations. It's Scorpio energy, and we also have Saturn here, which is interesting. When was Pluto discovered? I don't know. I'm sure someone knows, but I do feel like Pluto is playing a significant role in your life right now. Like, I feel like you're going through some intense transformations, and I feel like your senses and your awareness is being heightened like tenfold. I feel like you're becoming more sensitive to stimuli, both seen and unseen. I feel like you're also probably in this position where you feel like you're going a bit crazy, but at the same time, you've never felt more clear about yourself and your life. And well, yeah, welcome to spiritual awakenings. They do that. But I feel like what you need to know is that anything that's falling away, any parts of yourself that you are disconnecting from, any ways in which like elements of your life are ending, or it seems like you're being pushed in different directions, you're being asked to trust that it's for a purpose and for a reason, and that there is a lot to look forward to. There's what is leaving your life is making room for what is meant to come. And I think a lot of what's leaving your life is, one, a lot of belief systems you have about yourself and what you're capable of, and two, also like what is possible for you, what's possible within the universe, and what your life is meant to be. In the words of our Lord and Savior, Hannah Montana, she states, "Life's what you make it, so let's make it rock." And that's what you're meant to do. And it's not about asking, these spirits, what am I meant to be doing? What am I supposed to be doing? It's, what do you want to do? I think in your heart, you want to make a difference in the world, and you want to serve the world in a loving way, which is awesome. And the universe loves that. And so I think what the spirits are asking you to look at is, in what ways are you interested in serving love? In what ways are you interested in making the world a better place? What are you passionate about? The fact that we have the Magician here and also Archangel Ariel with elemental magic, I feel like one initiation that you're going through right now is maybe with like earth magic or studying the elements. Like, you're kind of giving me Avatar energy right now, where you're needing to learn to master all of the elements, which would be really interesting, because if you're technically Aang, because that's what I was seeing in my head. And by the way, I'm talking about Avatar The Last Airbender. I'm not talking about the James Cameron crap. I mean, not just, I don't want to crap on anything, but Avatar The Last Airbender is just 100% superior. And no, I will not be taking questions. And if you disagree with me, I'm sorry that you're wrong and have bad taste. Anyway, with the Magician card being here, you are meant to study and learn through like all of the different elements. And so I feel like you're really being encouraged to like explore fire magic, water magic, air magic, earth magic, and also be very observant about how these elements operate within you. So, you know, air would represent the intellect, your thought processes, your mental health, things like that. Earth would represent your physical body, so your physical health, your routines, how you care for yourself, how you nourish yourself. Because that's one thing too, is I feel like you're really being called to look at where parts of you are not being nourished that need to be nourished. I would take the time to like observe what it is that you're really needing. But also, before I forget this, because this just came in, you might want to look into automatic writing. Automatic writing is like a form of divination where, like, when I do it, I will just start by like asking like the beings that love me unconditionally to give me the messages I need to hear through this pen. And then I'll set a timer for like 3 minutes, and I won't think, and I'll just write, and I'll just write and write and write. Sometimes I don't set a timer because like I don't like to limit things by time. Time isn't real anyway. But essentially you just kind of don't think, just write, and then read back whatever comes through. So that might be a great way for you to kind of get messages more clearly if you are someone who like needs to see things on paper or registers information better when you're like writing it out yourself. But I also think too that going back to the elemental things, so water would be your emotions. You know, how does your emotional state play into your ability to create? You know, does emotional intensity help you in terms of creativity, or does it hinder you? Does your emotional state change your ability to be consistent and productive? What do your emotions communicate to you, and what is your relationship to your emotions? Are they positive, or are they complicated? Are they something that you are compassionately accepting, or are you shaming yourself for being human and having them? Remember that emotions are just data. They are just communicating things to us, and you are not your emotions the same way you are not your thoughts. And that these emotions, like, it is unnecessary to place value judgments on them. We were conditioned to do that, but in reality, emotions are there to just communicate with you. And then fire would be, you know, courage, passion, bravery. I feel it centered in like your solar plexus chakra, so you might want to look into solar plexus chakra healing, because fire is what you're passionate about, where your drive is, your motivation, you know, your energy, your force, like the things that make you feel alive and burn with passion, you know, those things. I don't know why I had to say it like this, but I do really love talking like this. It's just one of my favorite ways to talk. And, you know, speaking of fire, we got the Knight of Wands. And one thing that I'm feeling really called to tell you is that if you've been feeling like this urge in your soul to travel somewhere, especially if it's connected to past lives or if it's connected to your ancestry, I feel like you're really being encouraged to visit there, because maybe you feel a connection to a place that that in this lifetime, you know, you're not connected to biologically or ancestrally, but maybe you were there like in a past life, for example. You know, you don't need to try to understand everything, but I feel like you're really being called to just explore and travel, because there are places out in the world that not only have a lot of wonderful experiences in the wings for you, but I feel like you might have really intense like visions of being there in past lives, or feelings of familiarity that help you feel connected to this realization, especially if, like, maybe, for example, you feel more connected to the cosmic side of yourself that is like, oh, I'm not from here, and I like, and you might resonate like with more starseedy energies. And you know, maybe it's just been that you haven't been to Earth in quite a while. Like, you might realize like your connection to Earth has always been there. It's just been waiting for you to be open to it. You know, because like one thing that I think that many of us, and including me in the past, have been guilty of is, you know, kind of writing off the earthly realm for the spiritual one, for the cosmic one, for the cosmos. And the thing is like, Earth is part of the cosmos. Earth is just as cosmically badass as anything else, and the Earth itself is so incredible and beautiful. And like, oh my god, her sunsets, her oceans, her waterfalls, her climates, she is just always serving and always doing the most, and just is, the Earth is the best. The Earth is not the problem, humans are. And I feel like one thing you're really being encouraged to do is to travel to places that you feel this urge to visit, especially ones you haven't been to before, because I feel like it will not only help you feel more connected to the Earth, but it might actually spark realizations of places that you've been, or realizations that, you know, this isn't your first rodeo here on Earth, or that, you know, even if it is your first rodeo here on Earth, like, wow, this Earth is so beautiful, and all of these beings on it, you know, deserve better. Like, we as a society deserve better. We deserve more love. We deserve more compassion. We all just deserve better. And I think with this Knight of Pentacles being here, one thing that you are being reminded by the spirits that are guiding you is that you are capable of achieving anything you want to. You have the consistency and the patience to cultivate not only big manifestations, but create like very big, very major projects, like a giant book or a series of paintings, or like, you have the capability of bringing about manifestations that not only will help you in terms of like supporting you monetarily, but also like manifestations that would greatly benefit the people that it would be created for. I also feel like there's this interesting juxtaposition with you where I feel like in some ways you feel like you're ahead of your time, and also like you're an old soul and you can't understand the generation that you're in as well. And I feel like you're really just being encouraged to instead of like feeling like you're outside of humanity, recognize that part of the reason why you have a hard time connecting with a lot of people around you, or if you have a hard time, like, you know, just feeling like, you know, you're kind of not a lot of people, you might feel like you can really get to understand other people, but you feel like people can't really see you, or that there are not a lot of people that have the same interests or truly understand you for who you are, which, like, first of all, there are people like you, because they're also watching Pile 2. So if you guys want to, you know, say hey to each other, you know, shout out the Pile 2s, support one another. You guys are out there. You're just all spread out, because we need you spread out, because the Earth needs people like you. The Earth needs these unique souls full of love and full of wisdom and power. And I feel like you massively underestimate your power. There's a brilliance within your mind that you just have wonderful ideas to share, and you're a powerful communicator. So any way in which you can share your voice or share your visions, or be open to spirit so that you can co-create with visions, like, do it, because there's just a lot of support from the spirit world towards you. And I feel like one thing that you need to know as well is that a lot of confirmation around the beings that are guiding you, or confirmation around what signs were telling you, are going to come in hindsight. So, like, I guess I'll use myself as an example. Last year, I was going through like a really challenging period where I was just so depressed and anxious, but it was weird because it wasn't coming from me. It was like, it felt like it was happening around me, and I'm not gonna go into it because it's like a whole thing, but in that state, I like couldn't even pull cards. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't, like, I just felt so lost and so disconnected, and it was rough. And one night I had a dream, which was so interesting because it was like a lucid dream. And I don't lucid dream very often. And it was at Hogwarts, which was like wild. I was like, this is what the TikTok kids are talking about. Like, this is sick. And it was sick. But I remember at one point, I was told that there was someone looking for me. And when I was brought to them, there was this man, like this old man with this like, with this sly grin, but it wasn't like devilish or like sneaky or anything like that. It was just this like grin, and he had an eye patch, and he was dressed in pinks and blues, because actually I had nails kind of like this. They were pink and blue, and like he was wearing an outfit that matched like what my nails looked like exactly. And I couldn't figure out for the life of me who it was, but I felt this like sense of familiarity, and like I knew he was trying to tell me something. He was trying to communicate something to me, but I didn't know what it was. And then later, it like hit me out of nowhere. Like a couple of days later, after I had thought about it, I was like, oh my God, that was Odin. And he was 100% telling me to pull runes on the situation, and not like, Odin was literally there guiding me and like giving me hints and letting me know he was there to help me and support me like over a week or 2 weeks before I even thought of, I should ask Odin for guidance on this. Like I should see if like what he thinks about my situation. And so sorry that was a very long and convoluted story. I have ADHD, so I'm not the most streamlined. But if you're here, you know that. But essentially it was like he was always there, always trying to like give me the nudges, give me the signs, but it wasn't until I was like open to it and realized it and saw it in hindsight that I was like, oh, I get it now. And so the point of what I'm trying to say is that you might have experiences like that too, where like a being is giving you an answer, or a being is supporting you and guiding you, and you don't realize it until everything clicks together and you're actually able to like reflect on the things you observed earlier and make those connections and be like, oh. So I feel like one thing they're telling you is to trust those little nudges that you get, and don't like stress yourself out too much about like what, like how you need to go about things, or what the best way to go about things is, or like what you're needing to understand, because like you will understand what you're meant to understand when you understand it. So if you don't understand it, just be open and continue observing, because the answers will find you when the time is right, and there's no need to stress. And I also just think that the spirit world is really just encouraging you to continue believing in yourself, and to not shoo away any dreams or any desires that you have because you feel like they're too big. In fact, I almost feel called to tell you to dream even bigger and dream even harder, because you have so many beings rooting for you. And I told Pile 1 this, but it's also true for you. Like, your success is already assured in the spirit realm. All you got to do is bridge it into reality, because as the magician, the thing about the magician is he bridges spiritual wisdom with the material reality. He bridges spirit and matter and spirit together. He is the divine alchemist, and you are not only doing some internal alchemizing, but you are also alchemizing with the universe, and you are the physical component that grounds all of this spiritual wisdom into reality. So believe in yourself and believe in your capabilities, not only to succeed, but to create things and share things with the world that it desperately needs. Don't allow your ego or your fears or your logical mind to diminish the insights and the inspiration that you have, because all it's doing is denying you the opportunity to share more of yourself and be part of this co-creation process, but also you're denying the gift that other people will get from whatever you're sharing. So yeah. Okay. Whew. Now, I'm going to do something that I saw Gem Goddess do in one of her videos once, and I thought it was just like such a cool idea. I don't know, I might not do it as smoothly as her, and it might be kind of confusing, but essentially I want to give you the opportunity to ask up to 3 questions. They don't necessarily have to be yes or no, because there are many different like cards here, but you could do yes or no questions, or something else. But essentially I'm going to pull 3 cards and I'm going to leave them face down. You can ask 3 questions. You can ask 1 question. For example, you could write down 3 questions and then like pause the video and see which card you're drawn to for each answer. There's tons of ways in which you can do this, but essentially I'm just going to ask for a card for answer number 1, a card for answer number 2, and I'm just going to pull card 1, card 2, and card 3. And we'll go from there. So calling on the spirits that love, okay. I feel like this is just a random message. So this is not going to count as one of them, but it says reflect further for the outcome. And I actually feel like this is confirmation of what I was just talking about on like the fact that the answers will come to you when they're meant to come to you. And oftentimes you might not understand the outcome until reflection, but I feel like that's just a random message. So take that as it resonates, because I hadn't even like asked a question yet. So spirits that love pile 2 unconditionally, what is the answer to the first question and card 1? Okay, so this will be card 1. If you're not drawn to it at all, well, actually, let me just lay them all out first. What is the answer to the second question? What is the answer for card 2? Okay, there's 2 coming out here. I didn't see them, I promise, but I didn't want to ruin it, because if you see it, you know. All right, then what is the answer for card 3? Okay, so if you feel drawn to all 3 cards, you know, there could be answers for you in all of them. If you need to pause and, you know, kind of write things down, get yourself straight, do whatever you need to do. But we're going to start by getting the answer from the first card. So the first answer is inquire with spirit. So they're definitely saying that I definitely think whatever question you were asking related to this, the spirits have already been trying to answer for you. So I feel like this could be a situation where you do automatic writing for an answer, or you could even ask to get this answer through like a film or a book. Sometimes I find I get called to like watch a random movie, even ones I haven't seen, and then I'll have like important realizations or like signs or symbols that I needed to see. So be open to whatever guidance you get, even if it seems really rare, especially if it seems really random and weird. Okay, so there are 2 answers for the second card, so I guess we'll see what they are. We have realign and call it in, and trust you already know. So I guess this, whatever the answer is for this, I feel like you know deep in your heart what the answer truly is. But maybe you, when it comes to this question, you start overthinking and you start to doubt what you feel your intuition is telling you. So I feel like whenever you start to doubt the answer that you know is true in your heart, that's when you're being asked to come back and center yourself and remind yourself that the only thing you really know is nothing. And that's such a beautiful thing, because then you're open to learning everything. And then finally, let's look at the answer for the third card. And that is speak it into existence, which is coming out right on top of the Magician. So I feel like one thing the spirits want you to know is to be very careful about how you talk about yourself and how you talk about what's possible for you, because you are literally the only one like setting up limitations for yourself. Obviously, we have physical limitations of what we can do because our body needs care and things like that. But in terms of what's possible for you, I feel like Spirit is saying act as if it's already there and tell yourself, like if, for example, if you want to be a published author, don't say, I want to be a published author, you know, call yourself a published author. I'm a published author. You're just waiting for the evidence of that to materialize. And the more you affirm that for yourself and affirm that truth for yourself, the more real it will be. The one thing I will say is, like, be careful who you talk to and who you share your dreams with, because some people aren't always, you know, aligned with our highest good, or some people don't always want the best for us. And I feel like you're just being asked to protect your dreams because they deserve to be treated with tender love and care the same way you do. And anyone who doesn't treat you that way and doesn't treat your dreams that way doesn't really deserve to hear about them or know about them. And also, I felt called. It's funny because I was thinking about this quote before I started this reading, but I can't remember who said this to me, but essentially they said that the difference between winners and losers is that winners love to see other people win, and losers can't stand to see anyone win. And so, you know, make sure you're aligned with winners, especially if you are a winner. And the thing is if you do have a loser mentality, the nice thing is that you can always change it to a winning one. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and finish this reading off. I want to apologize for how much I've been chit-chatting in this one, but I think it's because there's just so much the spirits want to say to you. And also, like, I just feel so comfortable in your energy. I just want to talk to you and, like, hey, hi. So I hope you'll forgive me for that. But actually, no, I'm not sorry. I'm just being myself. I know some of you told me to stop doing that, but I can't help it. I feel bad. I just want to be helpful and useful. Okay. Anyway, we are going to look at the guidance these spirits have for you. And within these will be like synchronicities that they will show themselves in. So to start, we have forget-me-nots, eternal memories. The best things in life are the people you've loved, the places you've seen, and the memories you've made along the way. Oh, I literally want to start crying again. I definitely feel like this is deeply connected to loved ones that have passed on in this lifetime. They want to thank you for the ways in which you honor their memory, especially if, like, for example, you visit where their resting place, or if you just take time to honor them in any way. They just really want to thank you for that and say that they love you so much and they're watching over you, and they just want to say thank you. And that, the beautiful thing about life is that even though they may not have their physical form anymore, they still have all the precious memories you've shared together, and they're still just as connected to you in your heart as they were when they were here. So we also have the heart chakra with joyful. The trigger statement is, I feel so low, and the true statement is, I persevere. Release the worry and fear and allow confidence, trust, and strength to take you to your goal. Yeah, no, these are exactly, like, I feel like more than anything, the spirits that are guiding you just want you to be happy and to feel the love that they have for you, because that love is something that not only do you deserve to feel for yourself, but when you understand that love, it is also easier, one, to like nourish your heart and share more freely because you've got this reserve of love within you, but it also helps you understand like how much the universe wants you to succeed and how much your own happiness and joy matters in this process of life. Like, you're not here to just be like a slave for spirit and do its bidding. No, you're here to do things that bring you joy, and you are here to also have control and a say in that. The spirits are just here to guide and help you. They're not here to tell you where to go. It's like this. Rather than thinking that the spirits are telling you where your destination is, you tell them where you want to go, and they will do their best to navigate you there. And if you want to change course, if you want to turn around, if you want to do 50 loop-de-loops, they are happy with that. If you want to take the scenic route, if you want to take a shortcut, they will do their best to support you. And then you guys got 2 crystals actually that you are being recommended. So the first one is Jet. Earthy and grounding, this true black mineraloid variety of coal is an ancient fossilized driftwood. Who needs it? Empaths and witchy types. Where to put it? To clear a physical space or your body of unwanted vibes, swipe Jet over an affected area and tell toxic energy, spirits, and tensions to peace out. When to use it? When asking for guidance from elsewhere, think seance, guided meditation, hardcore tarot session. Jet can take the edge off of high vibe stones like moldavite, which is what I'm wearing, and serpentine, and is a wise old friend to bring your +1 whenever your triggers are sure to be on the guest list. Claim your space. And that's the biggest thing too, is like, you have complete sovereignty over your energy field. And if there is anything that is like, feeding on your energy, you can say at any time, no, thank you. I choose love. And I revoke any permission I've given consciously or unconsciously for anything to be in or around my energy field or in my home. I only allow and accept and invite unconditionally loving energies in and around me. Anything else must leave, and you don't have to get upset or like, because like those spirits and those things, they're just doing what they do. They're just doing their thing. It's not that personal, but obviously it's draining and it sucks. So remember that you have the right to say no and the right to push away anything and make anything leave that does not want to be around you. You have the power here. You are the you have physicality. You have carbon. They don't. You have the upper hand. We also have barite. Barite is a widely occurring brittle sulfate mineral. It's often transparent or creamy white. Sometimes it's icy blue. Beautiful and frosty, desert rose is a calming variety of barite. Who needs it? Anyone who leaves for work each morning with the sinking suspicion that their true destiny is anything but this. Where to put it? Taped to your forehead during meditation. When to use it? When it's way past time to stop saying yes to things you hate. Ask barite what your true calling is, then go live it. It will be terrifying, but what's the alternative? Get answers to your biggest questions. Yeah, I also feel like this King of Pentacles and this Knight of Pentacles could be saying as well that, if you know what you're doing is not it, and you want to make a shift, get prepared for that. Maybe, especially if you like have a lot in savings or things like that, look into how maybe you can like reduce costs so that you can take time to explore your passions or explore something or take time to travel. I feel like you're just really being encouraged to be resourceful and look at ways in which you can step outside of what you think is possible for you and make things work for you. You know, it might require you downsizing, or it might require you having a tighter budget, but I think that, you know, that tighter budget could be very worth it if you're like much happier. Like there's nothing worse than golden handcuffs, right? But we have an animal now. And so for you guys, we have the elephant spirit, which is learn from the past. So this also makes me think of Lord Ganesha. So you could be connected to that deity. But also, I feel like this is saying, you know, you are a wise and ancient soul, and you've learned a lot in your past lives. And I feel like there's a lot of wisdom that just hasn't been able to ground yet because you have to be ready for it. And I feel like one thing that you need to do is start trusting that things will materialize when they're meant to. And, you know, the number 25 here seems significant as well. You know, 25 is the age where our brains like finally like finish developing. And so I feel like, especially if you're like 25 or younger and you feel this frustration of like, I know I'm capable of more, but for whatever reason I can't do it. It may be just because like your body has not caught up with what you're ready to do yet. Like you can't expect a baby to do taxes. So like don't expect yourself to be able to have this like grand manifestation when you haven't even learned all the lessons yet or have the skills necessary to make it happen. I feel like you're being called to trust in the wisdom of your own timing and trust that everything is flowing to you in the perfect time and in the perfect way. And elephants are also a sign of clearing obstacles. So very beautiful. And finally, we have oranges with Scorpio energy and this energy. So I definitely think that the scent of oranges or citrusy scents could be a sign that you have guides around. But also I feel like this is a big thing that is reminding you that your emotions could actually help empower you. Like, you know, anger, for example, can be a great emotion to fuel you to do things. Passion is another. But I also just feel like if you are in a period of rest, or like if you're in a period of exhaustion, just know that that's not like a punishment or anything like that. You may just be taking some time to, you know, rest and to rest and recuperate, not regurgitate, to rest so that you can be ready for the next inspiration or for the next, you know, phase of your life where you may need a lot more energy. And it could be that like a period of like age 25 to age 28 could be really significant. Like maybe there's a lot of just like shadow work during that period, or a lot of like time where you're shedding old beliefs, and maybe you just have less energy. And that could be because maybe, you know, headed into like age 28, you're meant to do a whole lot. You never know. I don't know. But point being, I hope that the reading, I have reached its end, but you, my dear, are just starting your journey, and I love that. And I would love to hear anything you would like to share about your life and your journey, and really anything in this reading, because I do feel slightly bad about like how much I rambled in it, but I do just want to thank you guys so much for being here and for watching all the way through. I really hope these messages resonated and you got what you needed from them. And also, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching my ads, or, well, no, letting them play in the background. I'm not a monster. I don't expect you to watch them. I expect you to do something far more entertaining. But by just like letting them play, you help me so much. So thank you to everyone who does that. But if you'd like to help me in other ways, you can like this video. Incredibly helpful. Thank you to everyone who does that. Comment down below. Let me know how it resonates, and subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to click that little notification bell to be part of my notification squad. Shout out to my notification squad. If you want me to see your comments, I usually see comments when I first upload. You can also check out my candles. Be sure to use code ASO10 for 10% off. You might want to get the magician candle. I think that he is speaking to you. But of course, I'm just grateful you're here. You can check out my social media. You can check out my merch. And yeah, I think, or any other videos. So that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching and for being here. I really hope that these messages resonated and brought you some clarity and some comfort. Thank you so much for letting me read your cards. I love you guys so much. I think I just said I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this, but I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the green and gold feather and the Whispering Spirits Tarot, this is going to be your reading on messages from the spirit world that are meant to find you. So if you want a full breakdown of the reading, there is one in the intro. But we're going to start by looking at the spirits that are coming through to contact you. If you have any questions or concerns, I answer pretty much everything that you need to know about the spirits coming through in the intro with the reading breakdown. But I do also want to mention that if you feel, I said this in the intro, but I'll say it here in case you don't want to go back. If you feel the presence of the only requirement is that these spirits are unconditionally loving. So if you feel the presence of any spirit in your heart that I don't say, or for example, is like a passed on loved one, trust what your heart is telling you, that it's telling you that for a reason. Anyway, let's go ahead and see what's coming through. So to start, we have the solar plexus chakra. The frequency of the solar plexus chakra, the yellow flower of life, supports our sense of self, our personal power, and our willpower, as well as our knowing of who we are and what our contribution is to the whole. We have gift and friendship. I'm gonna kind of layer these guys because y'all got an extra card. A pink butterfly could be a very significant synchronicity, or like pink tulips. We also have divine cosmic mother womb. You are loved, you are safe, rest now, sleep well. We have adventure, innocence, play, discovery. And finally, we have the legend himself, Archangel Michael. Love to see it. So, pile 3. I'm getting some specific beings. We have to start with the obvious. Archangel Michael is here, but also the energy of the Divine Mother is here. You could understand her energy through Gaia. The Divine Mother is in like a lot of different emanations. So for example, the Divine Mother is Mother Mary. She is Ma Kali. She is Goddess Kuan Yin. She is Goddess Isis, Goddess Ishtar. You know, the Divine Mother's energy is seen and felt through many faces, but I feel like the Divine Mother herself is coming through. And for some of you, if you have, you know, a mother that has passed on, that could definitely be their energy as well. But for others who have a complicated relationship with their mother, or a complicated relationship with like nurturing and feminine energy in general, especially guiding feminine energy, I do feel like one thing that's coming through, which like we're not even to the tarot portion yet, but one thing I am hearing is that the Divine Mother really, really wants to be there for you and really wants to show you the loving care and nurturing that you deserve to receive, that you may not have received from your physical mother. Not saying that that's the case for all of you, but for those of you who have a hard time being open and receptive to those energies because of a complicated relationship with a mother figure, I really think that the Divine Mother is coming through, especially because she wants to show you that love and care and nurturing of what you should have always had, and also, you know, provide for you something that you need and deserve. But we got more spirits, so let's keep going. The fact that we have friendship, I do feel like if there are any, one, I think like your spirit guides in general are coming through, but also if you have a friend or someone that you really cared about that has passed on, I do feel like they are coming through in this energy. Or if they haven't passed on, there could be the higher self of a friend coming through. Like, for example, if you guys have ever seen the Hermit Tarot, her name's Lorraine, but like I love her very much, and if you've never checked out her channel, you should. Sometimes her higher self will come through and like tell me things that I need to hear. It's so wild, and it's like so beneficial. And what's crazy is sometimes then she'll tell me what her higher self was like telling me, and then I'll be like, your higher self told me that. It's kind of eerie, but it's cool. So you might have the higher self of a friend coming through, or the higher self of multiple friends. But these could also be friends and like family from past lives or previous experiences. If there are any spirits or deities that you left an offering to, or left some kind of gift for, I feel like they are coming through, not only to express their gratitude for that, but to also let you know that they are watching over and guiding you. There's a big emphasis here on protection, and a big emphasis on care and nurturing for you. So I want to actually read something from this card This card is from the Lemurian Starchild Oracle, and there is a like little passage from the Divine Mother. So I'm going to read that. Greetings. I am your Divine Mother, and so happy I feel to connect with you consciously. I am an energy of perfect peace and loving nurturance, and I am part of the fabric of your existence, like the air you breathe or the water you playfully dive into. Feel me now as I hold you, as I lovingly hold all of you, including any burdens you might bring today. Dearest child, please allow yourself to come here fully now, every morning and every night, to receive unconditional love, to receive the gift of space and acceptance, and so that you may also borrow my perspective to look at anything which ails you. Your energy field and physical body can be cleansed here every day and refilled with divine love, so that you may carry that love into the world and be in alignment with your highest truth, that you are a divine co-creator. In this womb-like space of perfect nurture, you can surrender and relax fully, knowing that I am loving and protecting you. My love for you goes as deep as can be, and I hold you through every trial of darkness or suffering. I promise to see you through the other side, and I will never leave you. Dear one, rest as long as you need for now. You've been carrying so much for so long. Here you can let it go for as long as you need to, and when you are ready, we can dissolve those heavy energies with love. I am always with you, my dear child. And I ask that you call on me consciously whenever you need rest, whenever you need a loving perspective, and whenever you need to lovingly let go of energies in your field. So I'll also hold this up if you want to screenshot it in case you need a reminder. So there's that. And then there's also a meditation. So if you want to screenshot that, it's on page 69. But there's this meditation if you would like to screenshot that. But the funny thing about the number 69 is that it's also like, it reminds me of the symbol for Cancer, like the sign Cancer, and the Cancer energy represents the mother. So there's definitely a lot of motherly energy coming through. And you know, if you do have a mother that has passed on, or you know, if for example, let's say your mother is still here on this planet, but maybe you know, you guys live in separate places, or you don't get to see them very often, you could even do that process and like invoke your own mother's like higher self as well. There's a lot of higher self energy for people who care about you, but there's also like this huge emphasis on cutting out the BS. Like the fact that we have Archangel Michael here, I definitely think that he is here to help protect you from any cords that you like, any energy connections you don't want to be connected to or anything like that. I definitely feel like there's just a lot of protection around you, but I am going to start shuffling because the messages are coming through really strongly. In terms of the sources, like there's like a lot of loving energies here. But one thing I also feel called to say is that the biggest thing that you need to know about these spirits, like before I even get into this, is that you don't have to like, if you're unsure of how to like treat them, my guides explained to me like to just treat them the same way you would a friend. And I had like kind of a hard time. I was kind of shocked because, you know, a lot of times we hear about like, you know, needing to go like above and beyond, or have like, which you should have deep respect and reverence for your friends, right? But like, I was just like, really? Because, you know, we see a lot of things about like worship, or almost like, you know, needing to do these like fancy offerings or whatever in order to like receive love or receive what you want from like a being or a deity or something like that. And the thing is like unconditional love is unconditionally loving. They don't place conditions on how you can receive that love. Now there are like cultural traditions, like, and I'm not knocking those whatsoever, like do whatever your heart feels called to do. But if you feel like guilt sometimes for wanting to ask for help or wanting to ask for, you know, support or nurturance or, you know, a blessing, don't feel like you have to do some complicated ritual or something like that in order to be worthy or deserving. You're deserving of love just as much as anyone else is. It's not about the effort you put into some sort of like representation of your love. You know, if your guides and the beings that love you unconditionally just want to be treated like a friend, you know, hopefully you treat your friends with compassion, care, love, and respect and kindness. That's all your guides want from you as well. You know, don't think of them as, your overlords or your parents. Think of them as beings that are supporting you and that love you and that have just as much respect for you as you do for them. You know, they want to remind you, you're doing the hard part. You're down here on earth doing the hard stuff. It is their honor to be able to guide and love and support you through that process, because they know it's not easy and they know that it's challenging, and they just want you to know that, you know, if you're ever beating yourself up or feeling like you're unworthy of Spirit's love or Spirit's care, and just know that not only is that not true, but also that is like, you deserve that so much just because you breathe and exist. You, like, the fact that you are you, that means that you deserve love, care, and support. And there is never a time where you're never an inconvenience to these beings. They're never going to be annoyed or frustrated with you. They don't have ego. And not only that, they want you to know too that asking for their care and support is not taking anything away from anyone else. The beautiful thing about love is that it can never be depleted. It only multiplies. So if you feel bad about how often you might be praying for guidance or praying for help, just know that, like, you're not taking anything away from anyone else. All you're doing is just inviting more love into your life and potentially love into the people's lives that you might be praying for or the people that are around you. There's also like a big message here just about, first of all, there's so many ones. And like, I keep hearing the phrase, take care of number one. And I feel like number one is you. And I definitely think that there's going to be a big emphasis in these messages coming through about the need to care for yourself. But I also feel like if there are connections leaving your life, or if you really are praying for assistance and cutting out certain people in your life, Archangel Michael is who you want to go to for that. But also there's a lot here right now about building up your self-esteem, building up your personal power, and utilizing the love and energetic gifts that the spirit world has for you so that you can unleash your full potential in this realm. So I'm sure we're going to see that in these cards. But this is, in fact, the Whispering Spirits Tarot. So I do feel like you have been getting messages, but you may not be able to hear them because maybe you've been in your head. Ooh, one more thing. You might have... If this is something that you want, and if it's in the cards for you, in the cards, get it? There could be like a spirit baby, or like a soul that is meant to incarnate that hasn't yet. Like, they might incarnate in the form of an animal or in the form of a child that you may birth or adopt. But I do feel like you are being guided by spirits as well that are not on this planet yet, but are planning to incarnate on this planet, and they are help guiding you and getting you where you need to be so you're ready for that. And I feel like especially for those of you, you know, who, for example, really want to be a parent, know that that is something that is possible for you, and to know that if that is something that you want, like, the universe would never deny you that. Like, it's kind of unnerving, you know, there are so many people that don't want that, and it happens for them anyway. So if you truly want that, like, believe that it's possible for you. The ways in which it might happen may differ, but I also feel like as well, you know, if this is going to be very specific, but if there are any of you who are really just like really struggling with, you know, wounds around like fertility, or wounds around like, you know, your body's capabilities of, you know, bringing life into this world or sustaining life or things like that, just know that whatever your body can or cannot do is not a reflection of your worth as a human being, and it's not a reflection of your value. Like, bodies are incredibly complex things, and it says nothing about your worth or your value as a person, what you can or cannot do. You know, obviously we can't always understand why things happen, but one thing you do need to know is that, like, your worth is not tied into your fertility or your ability to nurture or sustain life, or if, on the other hand, if you want a child-free life and don't even ever want to step foot into that realm, know that you don't have to, and that it's very messed up that we put pressure on other people to reproduce when they don't want to. Listen, if you've got Jennifer Coolidge energy, that's awesome. I saw a quote recently where she said, I never had children because I still consider myself a child. And listen, you can consider yourself a child and have children. but like also if you don't, like nobody ever truly has to grow up. You can always stay young at heart, and I do feel like there's an emphasis of that, reclaiming that here. So let's actually get into the tarot, because the messages are coming through so fast. I'm like, oh, can't even get the cards out. So spirits guiding and wishing to communicate with pile 3. What messages do you have for them at this time? Okay, yeah, we have the 4 of Swords. There's a huge emphasis on rest. The Hunchback of Notre Dame could be a significant movie. There may be like signs or messages in there for you. Or you may have a connection to Romani culture, or maybe like you have Romani ancestry. There could be a very powerful ancestor who could be guiding you as well. You may have similar spiritual gifts to them. And that goes without saying, you don't necessarily have to be Romani for that to apply. That was just like what was coming through. But the theme of a powerful ancestor with spiritual gifts, they may be coming through as well. Let's see what else though, Spirit. What other messages do you have for pile 3? We have the Page of Wands. Real, recognize it's real. Okay, what else? We have the 2 of Pentacles. We have the 9 of Cups. And we have the 7 of Cups. And on the back of the deck, we have Strength, which I just love. This is like one of my favorite Strength cards, I think. And I haven't put the back of the deck cards on really any other piles, but I think I'm going to put it, well, I am going to put it, I'm just going to put it like this. Because your guides right now, like, I want to stress that all of the beings that are coming through are guiding you in some way, shape, or form. And the biggest thing that they want you to know right now is that it's time to put number 1 first. And that one, if you're beating yourself up or feeling like you're not doing enough, or feeling like you're a failure, or you're failing at something, that is a delusion. Like, that is not reality. And if there is anyone in your life making you feel that way, I'm feeling specifically from Archangel Michael that if you wish to call in his assistance to help cut those people out, or like, for example, if you've cut people out of your life and like you still feel their energy around you, or still feel them like pulling on your energy, I would look into doing like a cord cutting ritual, or ask for protection, and just, you know, revoke any permission you've ever given for them to access your energy, because that could be a factor here. But the biggest thing that these spirits are coming through to tell you is that now is a time for rest and for healing, because you have given so much of yourself to other people. And I feel like as a result, not only is your Agni dim, which Agni is just Sanskrit for fire, and fire is the element that represents the solar plexus chakra, but I feel like Spirit agrees with that. And oh, also I see horns and sirens, like ambulance sirens, as signs from Archangel Michael. So there's that. And I always find too, Archangel Michael, so funny, and also just so responsive. So anytime you feel like, I don't know, he gives messages pretty fast. But I feel like one thing you need to know is that if someone like randomly walked out of your life, that and maybe that is like causing you pain still, just know that like rejection is divine protection, and that the pain that you feel from their loss does not even hold a candle to the pain you would have felt if they stayed in your life. Like, I feel like there was some fuckery going on that you weren't aware of. And I think part of that is because you see the best in people, and you have a very kind and loving heart. And it's hard when you see the best in people, because you see what they can be. But it's also important to remember that they are who they are. And one way that I've found to protect myself better, because I'm guilty of doing the same thing, so don't feel bad about that. And it's a wonderful thing to see the best in people. You know, most of us are really freaking negative, so it's kind of great that there are people that see the good in others. But don't judge people by their best, judge them by their worst, because what someone is capable of at their darkest or most destructive is usually very indicative. But not just that, but also how they deal with it afterwards, you know? Sometimes there are painful things that people do to us that there is just, like, you may forgive them for yourself, but, like, you just could never imagine being in their life again. Or there are people that hurt us on accident, you know? Whether they didn't mean to, or, you know, they were learning their own lessons. You know, if they are able to apologize, if they are able to, you know, rectify the situation, if they're able to grow and change their behavior, you know, take that into account, obviously, but definitely just pay attention to, you know, what people are capable of at their worst, because that differs greatly. You know, there are some people that wouldn't even hurt a fly, and there are other people in prison for horrific crimes. So, you know, there's just a full spectrum of what people's worsts are. So I found that it's a better way to gauge who is safe to be around. But I feel like if you're feeling uninspired, if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling drained, if you're feeling compassion fatigue, that is because you are needing you desperately. Like, you have been neglecting yourself. And the spirit world is coming through to say, enough is enough. You're not enjoying yourself right now. You're not doing the things that light your heart on fire. You're not feeling connected to your purpose. And it seems like whatever you've been experiencing recently has really, you know, made you feel bad about yourself, or made you lose confidence in yourself. And what your guides want you to know is that we're here to help you build that back up. You know, there are going to be times and experiences that are painful, and there are going to be times where, you know, your confidence is taken aback, or your confidence is lowered, or your ego is bruised, or things like that. But I feel like there's a lot of emphasis on building self-esteem and recognizing that you can be powerful and soft. You know, the beautiful thing about the Strength card is, I don't know what you would call this, but the being in this card is not winning over the lion by dominating it. It's not winning over the lion by forcing it to submit to its will. It's what's the best way to word this? Rather than trying to assert itself over the lion, or, you know, dominate the lion, like I've just said the same thing 5 times over and over. Instead, it's surrendering to the strength that the lion has, but just holds compassion and reverence for what it is, and is not trying to force anything. There's a gentleness to it. And honestly, true strength is rooted in being able to stand strong in what you believe in, to stand in your heart, and to, you know, not allow other people to alter who you are, or make you feel like you have to be less than who you feel inside, make you feel like you have to conform to something else, make you feel like you don't have to assert your will in order to take up space. You don't have to prove to others that you're strong. If you feel the need to prove to others that you're strong, you're probably not a very strong person. You know what I mean? Like, you know how nice people don't usually have to say how nice they are, and people that stress how trustworthy they are, probably not the most trustworthy types of people. I feel like one thing the spirits want you to know is that your energy can and does speak for itself. And one thing that your energy has been speaking to is the fact that there are insecurities within you, and that you do feel weak. And I feel like there are predatory individuals that have wanted to take advantage of that, whether that was to get your time, get your attention, whatever it may be. I do feel like there were, or maybe still are, beings that were taking advantage of you and taking advantage of your kindness. But kindness is not weakness. And the people that believe that they have to dominate others, or that they have to take advantage of others to get what they need, those are the weak people in reality. They just don't see that. They're too busy being tough. But true strength lies in vulnerability. True strength lies in surrendering to what is and trying not to force your will. True strength is trusting in the forces that are greater than you, and, you know, treating yourself and others the way you would want to be treated. And you do that, and that's wonderful. But I feel like one thing that your guides are saying is that, first of all, I feel like you're not having a whole lot of fun right now, and that's because, one, you might be taking life too seriously, and two, I think you're spread way too thin. With the Two of Pentacles here, your guides are really asking you to look at what you are doing in your life because you think you should be doing it, and what you're doing in your life because you genuinely enjoy it. Obviously, we have obligations that we have to do. You know, taxes don't align with my heart, and the way the government spends my taxes doesn't align with my heart. Maybe if they spend it in better ways, I might feel differently, but that doesn't mean I am just gonna not pay them, because, you know, I like not being in prison. And also, you know, it is important to contribute to the society that I live in. I'm not saying I don't like taxes in the sense that, like, I just wish my tax money went to, like, actually benefiting people more rather than, like, more bombs, you know what I mean? That's the point of what I'm saying. And also just, like, the IRS sucks. Like, seriously, if you live outside the US, you do not understand. Like, not only do they expect you to figure it out on your own and, you know, do all your tax crap yourself, but if you're wrong about it, then you could go to prison or be fined even more money. Like, let me just say, if there's something or someone that I will not validate, it's the IRS. The IRS, you are invalid, okay? And I wish the IRS were an entity, because I would cyberbully it. I would, yeah, that is the one thing I would be a cyberbully for. I don't believe in bullying others, but I do believe in bullying the IRS. Because they're bullies. Fuck you. Tell me how much I owe you and, like, leave me alone. Like, what do you mean I have to figure it out myself? My tax dollars went to the public education system, which clearly I didn't get a very good one. So, like, how are you going to tell me that I have to figure it out? Anyway. I'm getting heated. Give my tax dollars to people who need it. Services, to care, to supporting people, not to violence. That's my problem. That's my problem, and that's my point. I wasn't trying to grandstand, but then I realized the fact that I said nobody likes paying taxes. We understand why they're there, but I would just feel better if I knew in my heart that what I have to pay is going to benefit people. It's not that I'm like, oh no, I don't want to get my money away. I'm not saying that because, like, I'm a Scrooge curmudgeon. I'm saying that because my government is ineffective and I don't like it. Anyway, but, you know, that's every government everywhere. So, you know, we're all in the same boat, ultimately. And yeah, that was just the point of what I was saying. I didn't want someone to take that the wrong way. And that's the thing, is, like, you guys are like, Asa, we get it, just get back to the reading. But it's like, I can't, because I feel this deep fear in my heart of people getting the wrong impression and verbally abusing me for it. I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to make a statement. I'm just trying to make sure it is abundantly clear what I was trying to say, so that there's no room for people to project what they think I was saying onto me. Because that's hard sometimes. Anyway, with that being said, I need to be less concerned about what other people think of me and how other people perceive what I'm saying, because, listen, I can explain something and you can explain something till we're blue in the face, but we can't understand it for them, can we? And also, it makes sense that I would feel very insecure about what I'm saying and how it's being received, because that's, fun fact, like, my mood and my, like, everything about me and, like, the way I'm processing things, the way that I feel, it shifts with every reading. So the fact that I'm, like, very overly concerned with, like, how you guys are perceiving the reading, like, how you're taking things, how my words are being taken, you know, that just goes to show to me, like, these are all things that you are concerned with, and that's why I'm feeling them so strongly. And so one thing that we both need to know, that we both need to remember, is that people are going to project onto us all day long, but the truth that is in our hearts can never be corrupted. And the purity of your heart, the purity of your soul, and the purity of your intentions are not something that other people can determine for you. They will try. You know, it's like, for example, you know how people that are cheating seem to, like, love to accuse other people of cheating? It's because they're doing it. Anyone that is assuming ill will or negative intentions on you, it's probably because they have them. And you want to know the best way to protect yourself? You know, there's evil eye jewelry and all that, but the single most effective way to protect yourself energetically and from negativity is to have goodwill in your heart towards others. And actually, you know what? I'll just read the passage, because I have the I have, I know exactly where it is. So this is the Crystal Mandala Oracle by Alana Fairchild. Anything written by Alana Fairchild is just honestly chef's kiss. But Ocean Jasper might be a significant stone, but I know the Goodwill card is related to Gaia and Mother Earth. So it's more that divine feminine energy. There we go. Goddess Gaia and Ocean Jasper, Goodwill. We bring you the empowerment of goodwill. There is a type of spiritual power you can co-create which benefits and protects you whilst mutually empowering others to take their journey and experience divine success. This spiritual power, known as goodwill, is generated by how you feel inside and the attitude you cultivate towards others. When you know you have value, it is easy to recognize the value in another. When you feel encouraged by the universe, it is easy to encourage others. As you put out support, encouragement, and goodwill for the success of all beings, the energy is amplified and returned to you. When you feel peace within, it's easier to recognize that you have a place in the world and a destiny no person can take away from you. And when you recognize that, it's easier to know that others have their own place destined for them alone. This removes fear and competition and allows you to become an encourager. I'm not going to say that. Anyway, an encourager is a person who generates goodwill. They are not afraid of missing out. They believe their own destiny and operate within a field of abundance. They trust that their rightful divine inheritance will be bestowed upon them according to a loving and generous divine intelligence. They trust that all people can receive without causing harm or diminishment to any other. They believe in win-win situations and know the only way humanity can evolve is together. So they want others to succeed. They are happy to be at the cosmic traffic lights, so to speak. I was actually using this as an analogy in another pile. Let me know if you picked that pile too. That's cool. That's really cool. And allow others who have a green light to go on first. They know their time for a green light will come in due course, and so it shall be for all taking a journey on the divine highway of life. Goodwill that is cultivated by individuals becomes part of a collective field. It is the psychic equivalent of a group of angels, perhaps with cheerleader pom-poms waiting in the sidelines until someone needs help. They then burst forward with unparalleled enthusiasm to rally a person's spirits and boost their confidence. If you've ever attended a sporting game with a cheer squad in attendance, you'll know just how effective encouragement can be for the teammates in the game to tap in to their strength of will and refuse to give up. I disagree. I was a cheerleader, and I guarantee you that anytime that was happening, anyone that was playing and anyone spectating was probably like, I wish they weren't there and I wish they were quiet. And I would be like, understandable, have a nice day. I was only doing it because I didn't want to have to take gym class. So yeah, that was the least athletic thing I could do. Anyway, meow, where did we leave off? The stronger that field of goodwill created on a day-to-day basis by individuals, the more encouragement is available to whomever needs it, whenever they need it. It is very real. Although the prospect of angelic cheerleaders might be amusing, the energy of goodwill has the power to reach into another person's life and turn desperation into determination. It is a force worth cultivating in our world simply by wishing each person well and being an encourager because of this alone. However, there is a further benefit to goodwill. For those that are consciously cultivated, it becomes a protective field against ill-wishing, which is the opposite of goodwill. Ill-wishing, like the evil eye, and curses are fear-based energies which are either repelled by goodwill or absorbed and transformed by it. You don't have to interact or react with those energies or even pay them much attention at all, if any. You just need to focus on how good you feel within yourself when you want everybody to win at their spiritual game of life. You get the encouragement back when you need it. And of course, you say to the universe, I want everyone to win. And the universe says, I want you to win. So that's the thing. The more you are in alignment with the highest good of all beings, the better. And like, just the smoother things will go. And yeah, it's just such a deep truth. Like, Spirit loves all of us equally, whether we acknowledge it or not, it doesn't, we get so caught up in like egoic things or like, are we doing things right, or fear and stuff like that. And the reality is, all there truly is that the universe has for us is love. And I feel like you are needing a whole lot more love in your life because you don't have enough energy and passion towards what you do want to pursue, towards yourself. I feel like one, with this Page of Wands here, you're definitely being encouraged to explore the things that excite you, explore the things that you're interested in, and take time to nurture your inner child in any way you can. You might have like a younger sibling or cousin or even a child that is very adventurous or just reminds you of you when you were younger. So maybe spend time with them, because they might remind you of that, like, that just the carelessness and like free-spiritedness of children, you know, because they're not like being weighed down by the burdens of the world yet. And like, that's a beautiful thing. And the thing is that even though we do eventually start carrying the burdens of the world and things like that, doesn't mean that we have to let that corrupt our spirit or stop us from being playful and being young and fun. Like, being young is a state of mind and a state of being. It is not about age, because trust me, there are some people that come into this world with very old energies, and there are some people that just never truly age a day in their life. And I feel like it's really up to you how you want to see that, but ultimately your inner child needs a lot of care. And I feel like it would actually be really beneficial for you to picture yourself as a child, or remember that you are always a child at heart. There is always an inner child within you, and it doesn't matter how old you get, we all still need care. We all still need nurturing. And, you know, once we become the adults, the hard thing is that, you know, oftentimes we don't get that source from our parents, whether it's because they never gave it to us, or because, you know, they're not as available to us, or, you know, they're not on this plane anymore. And that's where, you know, this beautiful energy of like the Divine Mother comes in, where you can get that nurturing and you can get that rest and that peace. Because I really do think one of the things that you need is to just be able to offload everything that you've been carrying. Because I feel like you're not only carrying your worries, your fears, but anyone that's been like trauma dumping on you or depending on you, like friends, for example, that have been, you know, burdening you with their problems and things like that. One, I feel like you're being encouraged to set boundaries. You know, if you're not in a space to be taking on people's energies, like, say that, you know, that doesn't make you a bad person. Like, hopefully they're in therapy. And if not, great opportunity for them to get a therapist. You don't need to be the therapist friend. And in fact, one way to test your strength would be to be able to set boundaries and say, hey, you know, I really love spending time with you, but I'm just not in a place to be able to talk about heavy stuff today. You know, can we do something that we both enjoy? Or can we do something, you know, that's just like a little bit more lighthearted? Like something like that, I think could even be helpful. But with this Two of Pentacles here, I feel like you are spreading yourself a little bit thin. And part of that is because you're putting obligations on your plate that are not even yours to carry in the first place. And I feel like if you are really struggling with people pleasing, this is going to be a great opportunity to start pleasing the person that matters most, which is you, aka number one. Not only that, with the Nine of Cups and the Seven of Cups being here, the spirit world wants you to know that whatever wishes you have in your heart, they can and will manifest. And it's okay if you don't know what you want. There's so much in the world about like manifesting, and honestly, a lot of it comes from a more egoic place where it's like, I want to manifest this thing or this car or this or that. And it's like, and I'm not knocking that. Like, humans have ego. It's normal that when we hear, oh, I can get whatever I want. Well, I want, you know, a new Bugatti. Like, that's great for them. But you don't have to manifest specific things. Actually, the most effective way to manifest is, one, when you do it from like a place of love. So whatever you're manifesting, it's for the highest good of all beings. The universe is always going to want to help you with that. And when you manifest rather like a specific thing, manifesting experiences or feelings, that gives the universe the opportunity to be very creative of how they deliver those manifestations to you. So like, for example, you might be like, I don't have any hobbies and I don't know what I want to do. So you might say, I want to manifest a feeling of passion for something that I do. Universe, show me what you got, and see where the universe leads you. Maybe you get a flyer for a class down the street, or maybe a friend invites you to try a new workout class with them. Maybe you stumble down a rabbit hole on YouTube and you realize, oh my God, I'm really interested in this thing. It's okay to explore and it's okay to be uncertain. But I feel like part of the reason why you feel so confused and so uncertain and disconnected is because you are disconnected from yourself. It's not that you're disconnected from the universe. It's that you're too tapped into everything around you except for yourself and your greater guidance. I think you are way too concerned about what other people are thinking and feeling, and way too concerned about what other people think of you, what other people see as true. And what people see as true does not have to be true for you. And I think part of your problem is that you're taking on a lot of viewpoints and perspectives that don't resonate with your heart. And rather than acknowledging the fact that these things don't resonate with your heart and releasing them, you might be letting them percolate, and you might start asking yourself, well, maybe my perspective is wrong. Maybe it should be different. And you know why you're doing that? Because you're analyzing it from your mental body. And the thing is that any lawyer knows this. You can argue anything and come up with a solid argument for it, which is how a lot of atrocities happen. But there are truths that the heart feels that the mind cannot discern, because the heart feels truth in a way that the mind doesn't. The mind can be convinced of anything. The heart knows deep down what is true and what is not, because the heart resonates at the truth of love. And there are many people in this world that are not connected to their heart space. So they are not only not able to discern from a place of loving truth, but also they take actions and view the world from a very egoic or logical perspective. And that's their prerogative, that's their right. And if they're happy doing that, then more power to them. But there are a lot of people that don't realize that they're maybe taking on perspectives or things that seem logical when they're argued to them, but if they were tapped into their heart space, they would recognize in an instant that there's not that whatever perspective they're being fed is not actually as true as they may think it is. When they feel it and it feels off, that's where they would have the opportunity to be like, oh, maybe this isn't very aligned. But enough about other people. We need to talk about you. And that's the thing, is like, even within this reading, I'm trying to read for you, and it goes back to other people. And that's because you are so focused on everything outside of you and not focused on this beautiful heart that you have, because your heart has so much wisdom for you and so much to share with you. And there's so much within you just waiting to be expressed, and it's not being expressed because you're so concerned about other people's reactions to your expressions that you haven't even expressed yet. And the thing is that the more you express yourself and take up space and are the truest version of yourself, not only are you shining a light to people that are similar to you so that you can align with more like-minded individuals, but you're also repelling the people that aren't aligned with your highest good. You know, it seems like you got some losers in your life that don't want to see you win. And we gotta get you some winners, baby. You need to be friends with winners. You need to be friends with people that want to see you succeed as much as you want them to succeed. You need people in your life that are gonna be willing to help you and serve you the same way you help and serve them. You need mutually reciprocal relationships. And if you have friends specifically that are like, for example, like going out friends or something like that, you may want to look at if partying or like engaging in certain substances, if that's even something that you do because you enjoy it, or if you're doing it because you feel pressure to, and that's the only time you have to socialize, or that's the only socially acceptable way to meet people or put yourself out there. And like I kind of had this realization that partying in general is just how many of us in adulthood are able to tap into our inner child, in the sense that it's really sad, but the reality is many of us believe that we need to be inebriated in order to feel free from our cares. We haven't learned other ways to, explore the things we enjoy. There's not a whole lot of opportunities to kind of play as an adult. And so partying, I think, is oftentimes something that comes in there, because many people don't know how to get out of their minds. They don't know how to, find peace within whatever they're experiencing. And, it is my hope that more people are able to empower themselves and recognize that they can party if they want to, but you know, it should be because they want to, not because they feel like they need to in order to escape themselves. And I think that's part of the problem too, is that so many people are running from themselves, searching for themselves and everything, searching for themselves in the world without realizing that what they're looking for has been within them all along. And I think that you are experiencing that to a degree. But I also think that if you are, like, for example, drinking is, alcohol is such an interesting thing because it's like one of the only substances that you can actually be like shamed or looked down upon for not doing. I'm not much of a drinker. I never really have been. And I feel sometimes kind of isolated and ostracized because so much of socializing as a young adult involves drinking. And even if I don't want to, I feel pressure, which, like, I don't let that pressure get to me. But if you are in a similar position, just know that you don't need to literally poison yourself in order to feel socially acceptable, because the people that love and care about you will never judge you for not doing that. And maybe that is just a call for you to explore more spaces where drinking isn't involved. So meeting people through hobbies, meeting people through exploring and trying new things. You might be surprised. Like, you know, the hard part is like, where are all the people that don't like going out? Well, they're at home, hanging out, watching anime or some shit. Like, hello, it's me, and probably you, and probably lots of other people that pick pile 3 too. And that's kind of the funny thing, is like, it's hard for introverts to meet each other because we're introverted. but that doesn't mean it's impossible. And the thing is like, I've met some of my best friends in the entire world not leaving my house. It was through making these videos and connecting with like-minded individuals. So you don't even necessarily need to go out and do something. You could just start joining groups that you're interested in or exploring topics or hobbies. But rather than getting overwhelmed by what you don't know, look at that as an opportunity to explore and discover who you are, instead of stressing out about, I don't know who I am, and you don't need to figure out who you are. Who you are right now is an enigma, is a mystery. That's cool as shit. Like, no, everybody loves like mysterious people, right? So you're a mysterious person to yourself. It's time to start unraveling the mystery by exploring and testing and figuring what works for you and what doesn't, what aligns with you and what doesn't. I also think cranes are a very specific bird that could be significant to you, to your guides. I think that your guides are watching over you very much. And also, any inklings that you have, like, to just explore different things or to take different classes or put yourself out of your comfort zone, do it. I promise you will not regret it. And I also think that you're really just being encouraged. Like, if you feel the urge to reach out to someone or talk to someone, do it. You know, the worst thing that happens is that, you know, they don't want to talk to you, or you don't vibe, and that's just bringing you closer to the people that you will vibe with. But more than anything with this 4 of Swords is that, like, I feel like the spirits really want you to know that this is a time of healing and a time of you coming home to yourself and feeling safe within yourself, so that you can unleash the beauty of who you truly are in the outside world. And the thing is I feel like you've been looking for other people to see your worth and to see your value, and like, I'm glad to be able to be here and do that, but your opinion matters more than anything, and your understanding of your worth and your understanding of your value and your understanding of your deservingness to live and take up space and be a human and just experience life. The more you embrace that and embody that, your energy is going to speak for itself. You'll naturally get more respect. You'll naturally get more admiration. The more you take up space, the more you shine your light. And sure, you will get negative responses or haters or people that, you know, don't like to see you shine their light, but that's only because you're shining a light on the shadows they're trying to hide. That's not a reflection of you, that's a reflection of them. And in reality, you're actually doing them a favor because you're showing them something that they need to see about themselves. But ultimately, it is up to them to see it. You know, that's like, for example, you know, when someone, let's take the energy of jealousy, for example. Let's say, you know, there's a creator and you're jealous of them, and you hate to admit it, but you are jealous of them, and you don't even like that about yourself. You might see it as a fault on your part that you're jealous of them. You know what I mean? And someone in that position that's jealous might just take the time to write a hate comment and tell them that they suck or whatever, you know, to kind of get that energy out and try to bring that person down a little bit, whatever their intentions are. But what that jealousy is saying is, there is something being unexpressed within me that this person is expressing. So how can I express that within myself? What is wanting to be shown? So whenever people do trigger feelings of like insecurity or jealousy or things like that, don't look at it as a failing on your part or something that's wrong with you. Look at it as an unexpressed part of you that is seeking expression in the world and seeking support from you and attention from you that you haven't given it yet. That will be a wonderful way to like look at parts of yourself that need more love and need more attention and need more care. So yeah, pay attention to that. Let's see, I think with just the Four of Swords as well, like you need more rest. And rest doesn't always necessarily mean like literally lying down and resting. Rest can be rest could even be active in the sense of like going for a walk or dancing or running or exercising can be a version of rest. That's like that would be mental rest in the sense that you're getting mental energy out. But you know, rest can be spending time with a friend that makes you feel good. Rest can be doing anything that just nourishes a part of you that needs to be fed. So the more you can understand the different elements of you that need your care and that need nourishing and support from you, the easier it'll be for you to meet your own needs. But more than anything, like I feel like the spirits just want you to know and understand that the parameters you're holding yourself to, the expectations you're holding yourself to, are not the parameters and expectations that the spirit realm is holding you to. Those are parameters and expectations that you've either inherited from your environment or just from other people or society in general. Those are human created expectations from a place of ignorance, from a place of ego, from a place of scarcity. Like, for example, economics. Economics is literally founded on the concept of scarcity. And economics is in like everything, right? But one of a major spiritual concept is that the abundant universe will always provide, and we're always connected to infinite abundance. Now, I'm not an economist, but isn't it really interesting that we have this entire study on the concept of scarcity when spirit is telling us the exact opposite? Human created systems are not always very effective because humans are very flawed. And there's a lot we don't know and a lot we don't understand. And I'm not going to sit here and say anything is truth. I don't know. The only thing I know is that I don't know anything. And the more I know, the less I know. But what I do know is that as long as I follow what's in my heart and trust what's right and make sure that I'm always doing right by myself and doing right by others, living in integrity and, you know, just being nice to myself and all that jazz, I'm doing the best I can. And I feel like that's what you need to do for yourself as well, is just stop being so hard on yourself and give yourself the grace to just be doing the best that you can. And also get a little bit more self-righteous. Stand up for yourself and take a look at how you are allowing people to overstep your boundaries and take your precious time and energy away from you. You know, your life and your needs and your path matter as much as anyone else's. And it is not your job to meet the needs of other people. Well, unless you're like their parent and raising them, like that's one thing. Or like if you're a caregiver. But that doesn't mean that even if you are a parent or a caregiver, that is an extra reason why you need to be taking time to yourself in any way you can, you know? But if there are, you know, for example, if you're dating a man baby or a woman baby or a they them baby, adult baby, or, you know, you have friends that are asking way too much on you or relying on you to be their therapist or be, you know, fight their battles for them, like you need to take a hard look at, is this helping me? Because also when you do that for someone else, you're also robbing them the opportunity to solve their own problems. So it's not like you're doing it. It is not a virtue to be a martyr. And that's an unfortunate thing that I think that we have, like as a society, fed in, like martyring yourself for other people. That's an ego response. And there are many people, like for example, I used to see these things on Twitter and they used to fire me up so much, like, because I just found them to be so annoying, where people would be like, man, nobody like appreciates how much I do for them. Like I'd give the shirt off my back to anyone and none of my friends would do the same. And I'd be like, well then get better friends. Like why are you whining about it on Twitter? Like it's wonderful that you're a caring person, but it doesn't make you virtuous to sacrifice yourself for other people, because you could be friends with people that would, you know, give you their shirt too and be there for you too. So just know that unfortunately, you know, we have kind of reinforced this idea that it's somehow virtuous to like martyr yourself or sacrifice your own needs for others, and it's not. It's not. And it shouldn't be. It should not be applauded or rewarded. And that's why I'm kind of taking a big old steamy shit all over that notion, because it's a shit notion, and it sucks, and it's bad, and it's wrong. And that's my opinion, so you don't have to share my opinion. But I do think that any connection or relationship that requires you to betray yourself in order to be involved in it shouldn't have it in the first place. That is not a connection. That is a depletion of your resources by a leech. I don't mean to call a person a leech, but people be leeching sometimes. Doesn't mean they're a bad person. Just means that they haven't seen the power within themselves yet to address their needs and find the healthier and more proper resources to care for them. And it's so funny because, like, once again, what am I talking about? Other people. Why? Because you're not focusing on yourself. That's the biggest thing that the spirit realm wants you to understand. There's so much awareness and wisdom coming from within you that you're ready to see. But I think the biggest thing you need to take a look at is, what boundaries are you allowing others to cross? What boundaries have you not asserted? And what boundaries are you afraid to assert? Because the boundaries that you're afraid to assert, you know, if someone reacts negatively to your boundaries, that's exactly why you need those boundaries in the first place. And that's exactly why you need to set your boundaries with those people. Boundaries are not a sign that you don't want someone to be in your life. Boundaries are a sign you do want someone in your life. And so if they can't respect that, then they shouldn't be there, because people that genuinely want to be in your life will love and care for you and respect your boundaries the same way your spirit guides would if you didn't want them to communicate with you or you wanted them to lay off on the signs. Spirit guides will always honor your wishes, whether that is bringing in healing and help, or, you know, if you need some space, whatever it may be. Like, you are in this process right now of self-empowerment, and part of this empowerment is recognizing where you make choices that disempower you through giving your power away to others or allowing other people's beliefs to override yours. The beliefs that if an opinion or a statement is coming outside of yourself, then it's automatically more valid or truer. Like, there's just a real need to start recognizing where your own wounds have stopped you from feeling like, or your own lack of self-worth has stopped you from recognizing what you deserve. And I feel like you know in your heart that you deserve better, and you know in your heart that you're capable of so much. But if your time and energy are being dedicated to other people's dramas, other people's nonsense, then it's natural you're not going to have time for yourself. You're only slowing yourself down, and on the same token, robbing those other people of the opportunity to solve their own problems and be on their own path. So the more you can really just prioritize you, and also give yourself more freedom to explore and grow and just be patient with yourself. Because also, I think if you were like a parentified child, or you've just always held yourself to really high expectations, or like you grew up with very high expectations, you may feel like you're not allowed to be a child. You're not allowed to be carefree. You're not allowed to be silly. You're not allowed to do things. You're not allowed to mess up. You are allowed to mess up. That is why we are here. We mess up all the time. Humans are flawed. If we were meant to be perfect, we would be, and we're not. We're here to make mistakes because we learn from our mistakes so much more than we do our successes. And you're here to learn and grow. If you are holding yourself to, I need to know where I'm going, or I need to be, even the idea of successful. Definition of success is subjective, my dude. Like, if your idea of success is getting out of bed, that's pretty easy to be successful now, isn't it? But if your idea of success is, I need to have 7 Bugattis, you're probably going to be pretty freaking miserable. And then you're going to get those 7 Bugattis and realize they don't fill the void in your soul anyway. So, you know, we live in a culture that very much upholds ideals of, like, you know, surface level things and the shiny things, but all that glitters is not gold. And I think you're learning a lot of value in the lessons that you're understanding now, but it's time to see the value within you, because once you see that, it'll be so much easier for you to share your gifts and recognize that you are so deserving of taking up space. And the spirit realms that are guiding you, you know, they're just doing their best to protect you from harmful things that are draining your energy, but they can only do so much on their end. If you give people access to your energy, if you let people walk all over you, if you people please, like, you're making that choice. So you have to take a look at yourself and ask yourself, am I betraying myself? for other people's approval? Am I betraying myself in order to maintain connections that aren't serving me? True strength lies in making the decisions that are the most loving and compassionate towards yourself, your health, your well-being, and trusting that other people have the power and the strength to care for themselves in the ways that they see fit. And if they're making it your responsibility and you're not responsible for them in a caretaking way, then just know that that is them, that's not true. You're not responsible for them. You know, like, for example, what I was saying earlier about, you know, the fears of people misinterpreting what I'm saying and projecting that onto me and accusing me of things, you know, that's their right. They can do that. But true strength is recognizing that other people's judgments of me, or, you know, what they're hearing from me, is not the truth of what I was saying. And so that doesn't take away from what I said. It just exposes how they see and view the world. And true strength is in recognizing that I'm not responsible for how people react to me. I'm not responsible for other people's problems. Like, dude, if you don't like you can literally just click off. Like, you're on the internet. Like, bro, turn the volume down. Like, it makes me think of that Tyler, the Creator tweet that's like, haha, how is cyberbullying real? Like, just close your eyes. Like, people just want to be mad sometimes. People want to make other people responsible for their problems, and misery loves company. Shit is warm. So people like to stay in it. But you don't have to be one of them. And you're not responsible for those people doing that. Because ultimately, you are only responsible for you. And I know that you would really, really hate it if it took you to the end of your life for you to realize how much value you had within you and how much you missed out on because you were too afraid to take up more space, to shine your light, and to do the things that matter to you. I promise you, the opinions that you're worried about, 100 years, none of those opinions will exist. We'll all be dust. I mean, I guess unless there's, with advances in technology, who knows? But eventually, when you zoom out, a lot of the things that we care about so much really don't matter. And the judgments that people have for you are really just reflecting their own inner judgments. And you don't have to be part of that. Like, just ultimately, the point of what I am saying is that there is so much wisdom in your heart that your mind cannot contemplate. And the more you feel it and embody it, the less your mind will be able to take you out of that space, and the less you'll be able to be convinced of perspectives that aren't aligned with who you are. You just deserve to feel the love that the universe has for you, that these spirits have for you, that I have for you, and recognize that you deserve to feel that for yourself, and you deserve to take up space even if other people don't feel that for you. Okay, so with that being said, we're gonna go ahead now and move on to a little kind of experimental thing. I saw the Gem Goddess do this in one of her readings once, and I thought this was so cool. So credit goes to her. If anyone else has done it, that's just where I saw it. But essentially, I'm gonna give you the opportunity to ask these spirits up to 3 questions. You don't have to ask 3. You can ask 1. You can do whatever works. It doesn't necessarily have to be yes or no, because there are different answers here, and I haven't even gotten a yes or no that has popped out yet. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle 3 cards, and they're going to be face down. And let me just do that first, and I'll do card 1, card 2, card 3, and then I'll explain from there. So Spirit, what is the answer for card 1? What is the answer for card 2? And what is the answer for card 3? Okay, now, so you can ask, so if you're drawn to 1 card, for example, and you have 1 question, then that card can be the answer to that question. If you have 3 questions, you can ask each one in a row and see which card you're most drawn to. You may want to write it down to avoid confusion. If you just want to kind of see what happens, do that. If you're drawn to 2, take that. There's no right or wrongs here, and this is experimental, so I don't know if this will work. I guess you guys will have to let me know, and if you want me to do this again, I would be happy to. But if it's not working, at least we try. Life is about experimenting, right? And we learn. So if you are still figuring out your questions or question, feel free to pause the video, because I'm going to start by looking at the answer from card 1. So the answer to the question you're asking from card 1 is reflect further for the outcome, which is so interesting because this card actually popped out in pile 2, but it was different. So if you felt drawn to any of the other piles, there might be messages there for you. And they were more focused on self. So you could be getting what you need there. But let's look at the answer for card 2. So card 2's answer says, pick the following card, which to me means the answer for pile 2 is also the answer for card 3. So the card 3, the answer for card 3 and card 2 is realign and call it in. Wow, okay. That's so funny because this card also came out in the last pile. So I feel like the answer to whatever you are asking is, it is possible to call it in, but make sure to be aligned with your heart space and with your intentions, you know. Make sure what you're asking for, or because like I feel like whatever you're asking for is possible, but it's about being in proper alignment with the intentions that align with your integrity. So like, for example, if you're manifesting something from an ego perspective rather than a heart perspective, you know, you might get your manifestation and realize you're just as miserable as you were before you had it. Whereas if maybe you manifested from your heart, you could have saved yourself a lot of complication or something like that. I don't know nothing. I'm just a guy being a dude, reading cards on the internet. I'm just a pair of talking hands. But anyway, these hands now are going to give you some guidance. And not only that, within these cards are signs and symbols that your spiritual team may show up in, so be aware of that. But to start, we have the peony with prosperity and compassion. Prosperity depends more on wanting what you have than on having what you want, which is beautiful. This also makes me think of the Barbie movie, Fairytopia, cinematic classic, chronically slept on, snubbed at the Oscars. And for some of you, that might be a significant movie to watch, because that's all about a fairy gaining her wings. And oh, I didn't even realize, that like in this image, there's like a woman with no wings, but when she looks in the mirror, she has wings. So this could be all about you learning to fly. And, you know, that is a beautiful story, which I love. It's a great movie. But also, you know that prosperity is yours to have, and you need to have compassion for yourself and compassion for the fact that you're not meant to be the world's savior, and it's not your place to try and be that. But this is a crystal that you are being encouraged to get if you feel so called to it. And yours is vanadinite, which I actually have some. So while I read this, I will grab it. But it is playful, geometric, and fiery. Here it is. Here's vanadinite. A mining byproduct often sourced from America's Southwest, forms in orange-red hexagonal-shaped crystals when lead or oxidizes. Who needs it? Those lacking self-discipline. Where to put it? Vanadinite has a high lead content, so definitely not in your mouth. Good to know. When to use it? When it's time to live in the moment, when you are the prime audience for a motivational speech. Whether it's hard work, making art, or just a blissed out moment free from the mind's ongoing commentary, an energizing meditation with vanadinite can help knock down whatever stands between you and your happy place. Break through your big blocks. Beautiful. We also have the theme of empowerment. How beautiful. The trigger statement is, I don't want to be here. And the true statement is, I'm exactly where I need to be. You are ready to allow the energy from the divine and Mother Earth to fuel you as you fulfill your potential here. Beautiful and so true, because you are meant to. And the things that you feel in your heart, those are going to be the strongest guides towards the right direction. But we also have motivation with the third eye chakra. The trigger statement is, I don't know where to start. And the true statement is, I take action now. You will find clarity and the ability to create now. This is your time to make things happen. Yeah, just take the first step. And, you know, one interesting thing that I found too is that oftentimes motivation doesn't come before you do the thing. It's after you do the thing and consistently doing the thing that makes you motivated to keep doing it. So that's an interesting thought. But for an animal, we have the antelope, and it says life is speeding up. So yeah, I definitely feel like Spirit is trying to get you to rest and recuperate so that you can start accomplishing more and not allow your energy to be drained as much. And finally, we have bay leaf with wisdom. So a bay leaf could be significant. Leo energy could be significant. Leo season could be significant. Number 22. Oh, we have 222. We have 22 and 2. So I definitely think that you are being encouraged to find the wisdom from these experiences and keep moving forward, because I also think like if you've been trying to manifest better friendships and like partnerships and things like that, I think that by gaining more confidence and aligning with the energy of self-esteem and empowerment, that is leading you towards the exact individuals that you've been trying to manifest all along. So, pile 3, I apologize for how long it took me to get out this reading, but I hope that it resonated and it brought you clarity. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background while you do something else. That is a simple and easy way to support me and support me financially. So thank you to everyone who does that, because you know the IRS is licking their lips just waiting to feed off of me and my hard work. Anyway, if you'd like to support me in other ways, you can check out my candles. Be sure to use code ASO10 for 10% off. We do have the Magician candle right now as the candle of the month. You can like this video, which is incredibly helpful. Thank you to everyone who does that. You can comment down below, let me know how it resonates. You can subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can also check out my social media and check out my merch or any other videos, especially ones with an extended. But I'm gonna leave this here because I have already taken up enough of your time. So thank you guys so much for watching and for letting me read your cards. I hope this reading resonated. I love you guys so much. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye!